All right. We're here. Welcome, guys.
Yes.
We got Blades in the Dark with Josh. He's gonna take us through it. We're using something I've actually been wanting to kind of see in action, and that's multiverse.com. So this will be kind of cool. Um, and I'll just remember donations can impact the game. Donations also enter you into the raffle. We've got some really cool stuff. I've even got people adding stuff right now. I got some candles from Spirit of the Wild's candles. We got someone putting in some dice. We got some books that are being released in September about 90s comedy. Um, we've got tea coming from Burbank. One of our good friends at Geeky Teas is donating some tea. So we got some cool stuff. You can go to the raffle page at meowrathon.com to get more details. But yeah, donate for the cats, donate for the prizes, donate for the people. You got it, Josh.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, hello. I'm Josh from Heroes Die, and I'll be your GM for this evening's game of Blades in the Dark. Before we get started, just want to give a huge shout out and thank you to Meowrathon, OD&D for hosting, and of course, a big shout out to Simply Cats. That's why we're here. Um, as mentioned, there is a donation link that'll be populating in chat, and you can influence the game through your donations. For $1, we're rolling in the cat grass, and that'll give an extra die to our players. And Blades in the Dark uses a dice pool system, so you're greatly increasing their chance of success by a $1 donation for an extra die. For $2, you get the Feelin' Frisky, which will help restore some of their resources. You can either give them back 3 stress, which is what they're going to be using to do extra scoundrelly things. You can reduce harm, which is physical or maybe emotional damage done to their characters, or you can upgrade the quality of one of their items, so they'll have a better effect because their item is upgraded through your $2 donation. For $5, we start getting a little bit more intense, I suppose, with the 3 a.m. zoomies. Clocks are a system used in Blades in the Dark to track something that happens over time. And for a $5 donation, you can start a new clock, which will have some sort of consequence you get to pick, or add a segment to a clock. So something will happen faster, whether that's something good or something bad, depends on the clock, but you can have that influence with a $5 donation for the 3 a.m. Zoomies. And last and absolutely not least is the $10 donation tier, which is Curiosity Killed the Scoundrel. Our group of scoundrels here will occasionally get something called a devil's bargain offered to them. And that means that they'll get an extra die to their roll, but some sort of consequence happens, regardless of the outcome of that roll. It can be an ex-lover shows up on the scene randomly, or maybe the person they're talking
Oh
to
god,
gets
that would be awkward.
obsessed with them and starts following them around and something. Who knows? That's up for you to decide. And for $10, you can offer your own devil's bargain. It'll help them out and have some sort of major consequence. So make sure you keep that in mind. That $10 curiosity killed the scoundrels here.
And just want to
Um,
say that our good friend Cheryl just donated $40 to get us to our first milestone of $500.
Hell
And
yeah.
she says,
Yes.
split it up however you want.
Cheryl.
So I'll leave that to
Okay.
Joshua. And Cheryl, if you are watching and you decide you want us to use that for anything in particular, feel free to throw it in the chat.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You have some control, Cheryl. I'll put
Our
it out
lives are in
there.
your hands, Cheryl.
Yeah.
Please, Cheryl.
Have mercy, Cheryl.
So, yes, thank you so much, and that's awesome. Hitting that first milestone. Congratulations, and that's great. Let's keep it going.
Yeah.
Um, and we'll I've been doing a lot of talking, so I wanna meet our cast. So let's start. Whoever wants to go first. Don't introduce your scoundrel yet. Just let people know who's behind the screen, who's behind the player, and where can they find you. And I'll first come first serve. Go.
Right. My name is Violet or Rose. I am a musician and creator of things on the internet, sometimes known as Sparkling Vinegar. If you want to check out my Bandcamp, that is at Sparkling Vinegar, vinegar spelled with a Y, .bandcamp.com.
Thank you.
That actually looks worse. Okay. I'll go next because I was speaking next. I am Sasha Hall. That's right. You got a break from me, but I'm back. I'm back and I'm ready for more. And I can't see very well, so I'm just gonna put my glasses back on. If you can find me on the internet, congratulations.
I'll go next then. My name is Katie. I've played D&D for about 6 years, and I saw that this charity live stream was going on, and I was like, hey, it'd be fun to join. I too don't really have that much social, so sorry.
Ghost Gang.
I'm Sammy. Katie was actually the one who brought me into this. I've been playing RPGs for about 10 years on and off. I have Celine here in my hands. She will be
Cats.
making an appearance occasionally. I don't really have social media, so if you do manage to find
Ghost
me,
Gang.
congratulations. You can have a virtual high five.
Very pretty
I will.
Boyd Kitty.
Yes,
Yee.
yes. I will say that I also last year had no social media presence, no online playing. Meowrathon was the first streamed game I did, and I've been doing it ever since. So if you catch the bug, I understand.
This is
So
now a
maybe-
hostage situation.
Yeah. I can say
We don't get to leave.
Lady Asabat also, Blades in the Dark was her first game ever hosting anything at all.
Mm-hmm.
And she did it online at the Meowrathon, and now she does it pretty consistently.
See,
Yep,
I'd love
it's-
to keep doing this, but
Mm.
no, that's the end of that sentence.
There's a period there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exclamation point, maybe.
Yeah.
So yes, today
Tilde.
we're gonna be playing Blades in the Dark. So just to give a brief overview, it's a game
No,
by
give us the
John.
beef overview.
Oh there's lots of beef to be had as
Hell yeah.
factions war in the city of Duskfall. So Blades in the Dark is a game by John Harper and Evil Hat Games. It takes place in a haunted Victorian era city of Duskfall. About 800 years ago, the gates of death were destroyed in a cataclysm. So that's had some really big consequences for the world, including that the sun exploded, leaving little glimmers of light in the sky, but it's very dark without a sun. Go figure. So the city is primarily lit by electroplasm lights throughout the city. Now, electroplasm is life essence, primarily coming from demon blood, but can come from any real life source. But it's powering this industrial revolution era city of Duskfall. Um, Another thing that electroplasm does is help keep out the ghosts because an electric fence surrounds the city. If someone dies, since the gates of death have been destroyed, within a day or so, you can almost guarantee that a ghost is going to form from their body. And so people dying is a problem. And how do we solve that problem? The spirit wardens who watch over the city. They have these death seeker crows that will fly to the location of anyone who has died, alerting the spirit wardens to the location where there will be carted back to the crematorium and turned into a little tiny bit of electroplasm. As you can imagine, not everybody likes the idea of grandma being turned into a battery. So some people take great exception to what the spirit wardens do. Or if some scoundrels are going to kill somebody on the street, the last thing they want is law enforcement knowing exactly where they are. So some groups have found ways around these crows, including the Dimmer sisters, who are friendly with our party here. In fact, they've awarded each of them due to previous engagements with their very own cat. Being Meowrathon, all of our players will have a cat that is trained to hunt out these death seeker crows. So maybe they'll be a little less worried about dropping bodies than some other folks running around in Duskfall.
Sick.
So you have your cats. Let's take some time to get to know our party, who is known as the Strays, who have their secret lair in an abandoned inn in Silk Shore, an area of the city. So we're going to take some time to get to know the players. And we're going to do that. The strays have angered the journalist guild known as the Ink Rakers. So you've all received a little bit of bad press lately. Maybe they can't prove you did something, but something's getting blamed on you. So tell us, who's your character, describe what they look like, and tell us what the recent hit piece on them that's been published is. And maybe they don't have all the facts right. And if they don't, you can tell us what the real story is. But what's word on the street about your characters? And we can go in the same order we did our human introductions.
That would
Good. That gives me
start with
time
me
to pull
then.
up the document.
Yes.
Then behold, for I am the white swan turned black, known as Audette. I am. It's hard to say exactly who I am. In another life, I was an actress, a performer, just about anything you can imagine that would require to play another role, but such has resulted in me not quite knowing myself anymore. As far as my reputation due to the. What were they? Ink Rakers?
Yeah.
There's
Rakes, but
there's
whatever.
been
Fuck
stories
'em.
going around recently that some high-end art pieces have gone missing. They've had a bit of difficulty pinning all of that on me, considering each time the thief is spotted, they appear completely different. But the one thing that they seem to like connecting to me is the telltale white feathers always left on the ground. Which of those actually were me and were not? Who's to say?
Love it. Love it.
First of all, that's not a cat.
No, no, it is not. It is not. She
That's
inserted
an
herself.
imposter.
She saw the cat getting attention and decided she needed to be.
Yeah, my cat also saw you get attention.
Fair
so.
and true. Fair and true. Anyway, I am Elias Dexter, PhD, MD, all the D's, all the letters. Also known, unfortunate nickname, but I put up with it, as the Undertaker of Charterhall. I'm sure you've all heard of the incident. Frankly, it's hard to go around this stupid city without somebody recognizing me from it. Ugh. I'd rather not get into the specifics, but suffice it to say that a significant amount of bodies went missing, and some research of mine was poorly received.
Ooh.
I didn't steal them. To be clear, I was not the one that stole the bodies. They were stolen,
Just not by you.
but not by me. Yes, crucially, I was this close to.
You found them.
I
Yeah,
will
yeah.
refine the process, and then, when it's ready, the world may also be ready.
It's dirty work, but somebody has to do it. How else does science happen if not for brave folks like the Undertaker of
Fuck the ethics
Charterhall?
board.
Listen, it's finders keepers, all right? They weren't using those bodies.
I found them in my morgue. I don't know how I got there. They disappeared.
Maybe keeping them in my dormitory wasn't the smartest idea.
Otherwise known as the morgue. Yes, that's correct. Okay, I haven't been talking, so I'll go. My scoundrel, her name is Carmen. She is a kid that really has just been around in the underground a lot, and her moniker is Magpie. She can't handle not seeing something shining and not being in her hands. So there may or may not have been rumors of certain areas missing a lot of wallets. I don't know how I got there. They just showed up in my hands. Anyways, the news. I mean, I I don't know why they're so upset. I took all their quills and stuff, and that may have gotten me a bad reputation with them. But that's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. It's okay.
It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, they disappear there. It's fine. So so yeah, so I don't really have a calling card other than the shiny things end up in my hands and stored somewhere that's undisclosed. But that's it.
Love it.
And then I will go ahead and go. So I have my scoundrel, Avantika, who has kind of been giving the moniker of Jinx. She doesn't really feel too kindly about that. She doesn't really care. Um, she kind of got a little burned by a previous friend contact, if you will, when trying to enact a heist on perhaps a bank, and was given some very, very bad information and definitely got screwed over. Is definitely probably wanted by the authorities, and she's not very good at hiding because she wears a gigantic, obnoxious feathered hat. Her clothes are very bright. They clash. It's a terrible thing. And she's just always getting drunk, always starting fights. She doesn't know how to be low key. She just punches her way through everything, so she hasn't been caught quite yet. But she thinks it's because she's like the best in the game. She's like, listen, I know my way about stealth, okay? And she does not. But
They don't ask how, they ask how many, right?
no, exactly.
I propose a new nickname, Decoy.
Okay.
The distraction.
This is decoy. You know, actually, I like that. Yeah.
AKA
Yeah.
bait.
Yeah.
Right.
There we go.
So, you have been collectively. You have all been hanging out in your lair here, and it's been a relatively low key day, which is how you like it. You have this hidden
Right.
lair for a reason, and you've all been laying low due to various folks probably wanting your heads for a variety of reasons. As you've been assembled in your lair, you notice coming from the alleyway between some boards that are lining the windows. There's little cracks, and a pulse of light 3 times comes through the windows, which you recognize as the calling card of Rigny, your connection with the Dimmer sisters. That's how he signals to you that he would like to come inside for a meeting. And you're certain, because of the pulsing lights, you're pretty certain that that's who that would be. Would you like to let him in?
Sounds like our boy's got something for us. Yeah, I'll let him in. It's a bit of a walk from my basement to the door, but yes.
Yes. So
I imagine someone else could have gotten there faster.
Yeah, no. Avantika's actually right by the door, and she's just like, oh, you're okay. You got it. You're good. You're good.
Oh, you've actually changed your alias to the Decoy. I love
Yeah.
it.
it is canon. It is canon now.
She knows her strengths.
So, Rigny comes in and says, got something for you. Kind of looks around, and the sisters, they've sent me to, well, they have some business and believe that no one else should be trusted but the 4 of you folk. You busy, or you got some time for the sisters?
I mean, I have some drinks I was gonna drink, but yeah, I mean, I guess we can like do this first, you know. It's fine.
I still owe him a couple of back favors for materials, so might
I'll
be
just
in my
put-
best interest.
I poke my head out. Shiny. Shiny.
You'll get rewards. I don't know exactly what they have in mind, but I imagine there's something shiny for you.
Yes. There better be.
Probably.
There better be.
Kind of looks around and even notices some of the cats that are meandering around and says, yeah, it has to do, they want to train some more of them, and points to some of the cats. But
All right.
the supply of crows is running low, and well, as you can imagine, one way you could get a bunch of crows would be to make a bunch of bodies, but for some reason they think that
I
might
mean,
draw a little bit too much attention.
Okay.
So they have another they have another source that they have in mind. There's I guess you could call him a magician,
Eh,
some guy who does some kind of circus act, you see, and he's managed to steal a number of these Jessica crows. He uses them in his act, and supposed to be performing down at Potter's Field. It's a tavern. It's in a night market, and if you could manage to walk away with a couple of them crows, I think that the Dimmer sisters would make it worth your while. I don't have a whole lot of information, but I can probably at least point you in the right direction. And, well, after that, that's what they pay you for, right?
did they give you a number or just kind of bag 'em?
As many as you can get, I imagine. I don't think
Alright,
one would be worth it, but at least two, maybe
Yeah,
more. I mean,
Right.
those
Okay.
little fur balls can take care of them crows pretty quickly. So the more you get, the more they can train, and the happier they'll be. And the happier they are, certainly the happier you'll be. I mean, you're no stranger to their generosity.
No, we are not. Right. Sounds like evening plans.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I'll clear my schedule. Pull out a piece of paper and start
You
just
have a
scribbling
schedule?
out.
Oh,
I-
I see.
Yes. Well, see, at 6 I drink. At 7 I drink. At 8 I cry and then I drink. And then at 9
Oh,
I drink again. Yeah.
I mean, I
Tight
noticed that
schedule.
there
You
was a
certainly
pattern, but
are
I
not
didn't
one
think
and
they
the
were
same.
actually
No.
discrete times for them.
I
I
think
need a schedule.
you forgot one. At 10, I think you drink, cry, and then drink again.
No, 10,
Oh, yes.
10
the
is when
milk
I go
bath.
get in a fight. 10 is when I
Oh,
fight.
yeah.
Yeah.
Saturday
And then I do
night,
more
you know
drinking
how it
after
is.
that.
So it's punch and then take a drink.
Yeah. Double fist. Isn't
Well,
that what that is?
I'm sure the stock in the freezer will last another night. It's fine.
You said the night market? Is that correct?
Yeah, it's a Potter's Field. It's a tavern located in Night Market, and there's a kind of a speakeasy vibe. There's a theater through the tavern. I don't know exactly how you're gonna get in, but if you manage to get through, there's a hidden theater, and well, you folks can figure that out, I suppose. And
Yep.
I don't know if there's a password or maybe some sort of bribe necessary. Somehow you gotta get someone to acknowledge that the theater exists and let you in there. And well, once you're in there, uh, try to steal some birds.
Well,
You
that
make
sounds
it sound
easy.
so straightforward.
We'll go for the hat. Magicians always have stuff in their hat.
It always comes back to the stage, does it? Fine.
Well, some would argue it always comes back to the morgue, but let's put that into Plan B slot.
My grandma said that it always comes back to the fish eye. I don't know what she meant by that, but that's what she said.
One day we might learn what that means. One
Maybe.
day in the very, very, very distant future.
Maybe
Yeah.
tomorrow. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know
Yes.
that they need any fish eyes now, but I'm pretty sure that I think it's a good substitute for Eye of Newt for certain recipes. I don't keep track of all the hows and what's it's,
Yeah.
but yeah, maybe some fish eyes will be next week's laundry list that they send for you.
Yeah, maybe. When they do, I'm
Yeah.
the guy.
Those sound much easier to get. It's just fish.
You say that now. You've never tried to harvest fish eyes before. They're really wiggly. Okay, anyways, we don't need to talk about fish eyes.
Yeah,
Let's
but
go
fish
steal
are
some
legal.
crows.
You can just buy them.
Well, yeah, but they move.
At the night market, probably.
Okay, we get our crows and we also get some fish. I love the way
Yeah.
that sounds.
Take
Maybe.
out. Let's do it.
Always ahead of the curve, you folk.
Though we got big brains, huge brains, you know.
That's what they pay you for, I suppose.
And
I'm
then
just a messenger here, so
Yep.
the details of it I'll leave up to you. I suppose really all they want is the crows. If you want to just start laying folks dead outside and
Yeah.
snag the crows that come, I'm not sure that they would like it, but it's a possibility. I think this is probably the best bet to keep heat off y'all.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I relish the opportunity to get my hands on some new raw material, it may end up messier than strictly necessary.
There's always hope.
Always hope.
And I
There's
guess
always
they're
hope.
not mutually exclusive. If you do have to do some dirty work, I suppose you could always get another crow or two. Just make sure you keep the little murder mittens away from them.
Hmm.
They don't tend to hesitate when the crows are flying about. So make sure you keep an eye on them when you're trying to snag the crows. You don't want any of them getting a little bit too back to their basic instincts, if you know what I mean.
Well, that's what they're trained for. But
Oh, the cats! You're talking about the cats.
yes,
Oh, the murder mitten. Okay, I thought you meant real mittens. I was like, are we baking now? What? Oven?
I think
Vontica,
you,
have you considered coming downstairs and letting me look at that concussion?
Mm, no.
I think you might just be a little ahead of schedule, is all. Seems like you might have jumped ahead to the 6 o'clock drinking or something.
No,
Oh
no.
yeah,
I'm
that's what
perfectly
it is.
on schedule. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Of course, hey, I'm not here to tell you how to do your business. I'll sneak out the back as I normally do. No attention drawn. Gotten pretty good at it, but if you don't have any more questions for me, I'm gonna take my leave. Don't like to be here longer than I have to.
Yeah. Be careful when you're going out the back door. There's a little puddle of vomit I haven't cleaned up yet. Don't step in it.
Or the
Oh,
It's
bottles.
dark.
There's like 5 bottles back there too. I would not step on those either.
You might trip and then fall into the vomit. Don't do that.
Yeah,
It's
I've
a
seen her.
whole. It's
Yeah,
a Rube Goldberg machine over there. Frankly, I don't think any of us actually use the door, but you.
uh, all right then. Well, if you need me, I'll be at the pub.
Yep.
And you know that he runs a pub nearby. So if you
Oh
do
yeah,
need to find him again,
we've
you
been
all
down.
know exactly where to find him.
The food's
Um,
all right, but
Fine.
yeah.
If we need to ask more about the night market, because he seems to clearly know not a lot about that, we'll find him at the pub.
yes, yeah. If you have any questions you want to ask of him, he's super easy to find. He's a public face. You know, he's not nearly as secretive as the four of you. Um, all right, so I'll
Fantastic.
if we so the way Blades in the Dark work, people who haven't played before. Right now we're in free play, and we're about to start our first heist, or what's known as a score. But before we do, if there's anything that you want to do or things like that, remember you will have the opportunity to flashback. So we don't need to do a whole lot of planning and prepping and a lot of the nitty gritty. You can always do that when we're mid score, flashback to. But if there's anything big, major that you want to do, now's the time. We can switch right into the score. But I want to give you folks a little bit of an opportunity if you want to do any last minute prep.
Hmm.
Mm,
All right, then I think we
I-
just jump right into it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I
might
think
as
we
well.
jump right into it. So the only real planning that we have to do as a group collectively is how we're going to do this. And I mean that in a 10,000-mile looking down point of view. Again, not the nitty gritty. We're going to switch to our score setup. So all I ask for is, generally speaking, how would you like to approach this heist? And your options are assault, deception, stealth, occult, social, and transport. Those are the kinds of scores that we can do. So generally speaking, how would you like to go about this score?
I vote
Hmm.
either deception or stealth.
I like deception. I feel like that would play into a lot of our strengths.
Yes.
Deception it is.
Deception it is. All right. And how kind of again that 10,000-mile point of view, generally speaking, what's the plan here? How are you going to be sneaky? How are you going to be deceptive? How are you What's your first plan of attack? And again, we don't need to get into the details. I'll fill those in, but are you going to try to bribe somebody? Are you going to try to act like you're roadies for the show? Just kind of generally speaking, what's the beginning parts of this plan?
Hmm.
Well, the first order of business is getting into the joint. That seems like it'll be the most difficult. Once we're in there, it's an enclosed space and it'll be easy enough to bag the birds and bring them home. So, question being, how we get in?
Security. Just be the
Now,
actual security team.
Oh, we're secure. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I'm sure Bruiser over there would relish the opportunity, but I don't know if that would work so well. How about the tunnels? Any y'all been down that way? I haven't. I haven't added them to the map yet, so I'm not sure how far back they go, but they go a ways.
That's right. As one of your crew perks, you do have access to an underground tunnel system that you've selected as one of your perks. Um, I'll
That's
say
how I got in here.
that's not going to get you all the way to where you want to go, but it will at least get you into the theater. So if you utilize that route, you'll be able to bypass the speakeasy, the tavern portion, and get directly into the theater portion.
All right, well that gets us in the
Assuming that
building.
it's yeah. So I think that's
Gosh,
That gets us
great
in there.
a great way to start out.
there's our in.
So who wants to roll our engagement roll to figure out as if this was like a movie, right? We pan out from this planning session and into the beginning parts of this heist, and we want to see what kind of circumstance, where do we join our heroes in the midst of this heist? And one of you is going to be making an engagement roll. Who would like
Just
that?
as soon as I can find it.
Okay, it's if you go to score in the upper left-hand corner. Okay.
Oh, left hand. Okay.
Oh, yeah, sorry, yeah.
Advantages and disadvantages. How?
And so as the GM, I
Honest.
get to decide how many dice you get to roll. And the way Blades works is you roll a number of d6s and you're gonna keep the highest, and that's gonna tell us how well you did. So I'm gonna say it's in Night Market is your hunting ground. So I'll give you 1 bonus die for that. You're not fading the people you're going up against aren't necessarily the highest tier. I mean, it's a magician playing a gig underneath of a bar, so they're not
It's
necessarily.
one guy.
Yeah,
and
they're not
some
necessarily. They
security.
probably have some kind of security and things like that, but it's not going up against the nobles or the emperor or something big. So I'm gonna call that a wash. It's not gonna hurt you or help you. It's about even with your tier.
Okay.
You get 1 just for blind luck. So right now we're up
Sheer
to
luck.
2.
Yep.
And yeah, I think let's just roll those 2. I think that's safe. So
Well, now
go
hang
ahead.
on.
All right.
Don't we get one for an ally providing aid?
So that would be if you want to bring in a connection. I will say that Rigney told you about where you're going in the job, but for providing aid, would need to do something above and beyond just telling you where to go. So if you want to rely on any of your contacts to give you a little bit more of an edge, and you can bring in any contact, it doesn't have to be Rigney. But if you
Well,
want to
I'm just.
utilize one of your contacts, you can certainly make that pitch, and I'll probably give you another dice.
I
Or
think
another
we already have because the Dimmer sisters told us about the tunnels, didn't they? That's how we know about them.
That's,
Yeah, but
okay. No,
That's-
I think that's fair. The tunnels themselves being the connection is the part I was missing. So you're right. Give yourself
Okay.
1 for the kind of the benefit of the tunnels and the Dimmer sisters providing you this way. I think that's completely fair.
All right,
And
we got 3D.
as a reminder to everyone, this is a game all about collaboration. So if I say something and just as Sasha did, said, "Hey, wait a minute, what about this?" That's perfect. That's correct me as often as you'd like. It's very conversational writer's room style. So go ahead and roll those 3 for me, and we'll see how you do. With a 4
Oh.
as your highest, you start out in a risky position. So that's middle of the
Mhm.
road. So let me just
Righto.
transport us to Utah.
It's actually surprisingly easy to see in these.
They look amazing.
Ooh,
for the
heist
record.
music.
So you've managed to come out in a hallway that seems to be in some tunnel. And as you break your way through a hidden door, you come into the theater proper as you enter. And gentleman is
Sweet mother of Moses.
standing towards where the doors, the theater entrance is, and he has a book in front of him, and he's kind of flipping through it absentmindedly, and gets a little startled as you start to approach, and he hears the footsteps and says, "What's this? What's this? Who's there?"
What do you mean who's there? We're regulars. Don't you recognize us?
Can't say that I do, friend, and well, I know pretty much everybody that comes down to this. Who let you in here?
John.
I'm sorry, but do you not recognize me?
Thank you.
I can't say that I do.
But I'm to be performing tonight.
Yeah.
But I thought Densford was on the bill. He's already been back there setting up for a while.
Yeah, he's the opening act.
There.
And then he closes the night.
Yeah, come on. Big
I mean, listen.
showstopper right here. You think the magician's the one bringing in all the people? Come on.
I'm sure, exactly. I'm sure he'll get a couple of laughs and a coin or two, but the big money, that comes from us.
Man, where are we supposed to be setting up now? I'll start heading towards the back, get set up.
Exactly. We're already
please
behind
do.
schedule.
Yeah, you're cutting into our time. Come on now. You want to talk to the angry crowd? When
Mhm.
she has to get up on stage late?
No, hold on just a minute. Hold on just a minute. I mean, if I'm being honest, this might actually be a little bit of a benefit. Densford's getting a little shaken up, so he's talking about maybe not even going on stage. If we can have another act, if I'm being honest, that might be. But hold on. I don't see it on the list. And he starts flipping through this book. It's just not adding up. It's just he seems frazzled and like he would be willing to let you pass. He wants to let you pass, but he needs something that he can rest his hat on. So if you want to make some sort of push, use an item, a skill, something just to tip him over the edge. And
Oh yeah, we didn't do load.
Oh, that's correct.
How we running?
So that's a good point. Remember, you don't select what objects you'd like, but you should select how many objects you'd like, and you get 2 for free. That I don't know because of your group perk, your crew perk. So remember, you get 2 items for free. But generally speaking, how many items are you carrying, and that'll determine how stealthy, swift, that sort of thing. Like light, medium, or heavy load.
Right. I have myself set for a normal load.
Okay.
Now, I am toying with the idea of heavy because we need to transport the birds, for one. And 2, having like a duffel bag or an equipment bag lends some credence to our being, stage crew. We've got our stage set up. We got to put this all together. So I'm kind of thinking of having like a duffel bag. You've all seen bags.
Mm-hmm.
We've all played Payday 2.
I've
know
never
what
seen.
bags look
What's
like.
a bag? What's a bag?
Okay.
Bag.
Would I be able to very, very quickly pull out like a scrap of paper and try and
This is
write
actually what
down-
this is actually what I was going to do. I am going to use one of my equipment, which is a collection of documents, which we're very good at given the printing press that we keep at our hideout.
Yeah.
And I'm going to produce forward some let's say semi-forged like announcement posters and like descriptions and headshots of myself claiming very clearly that I am to be performing here tonight as a singer.
And yeah, you absolutely know how these promotional materials work. It looks
Absolutely.
very legitimate, both from your experience and because you did steal that printing press from the ink rakes. That there's no necessity to roll in this case. That you are primed and prepped for just such an occasion. And so make sure you mark off document as one of your load. I don't remember if that. Okay, perfect. But you hand him some of the promotional materials, and he kind of looks it over. Yeah, I suppose they wouldn't have printed this up if you weren't supposed to. Nobody tells me anything, I tell you.
Oh man,
No.
you're getting the short end, I tell you.
Are you
work
new to
way
the business?
Too hard. Way too hard for what they pay you.
Genuinely,
somebody
you should take
appreciates
a
it at
look
least.
Yeah, you should look at other joints, mate. You're getting shafted.
Yeah, Yeah, I think I might. But in any event, I'm not gonna hold you up any longer. I do apologize.
No
eh,
worries. Power to you.
but it's right back there. I think Dansford has the dressing room on the right there, but the one on the left, I guess, is probably yours then.
Yeah.
Yes, that sounds
Righto.
about right. Thank you very much.
So
So-
if you wanna
Shall we carry on?
travel right on past there, and as you enter the room, there's some folks have started to gather. There's a couple bars, one on the left, one on the right, as you can see there, and there's a little bit of a crowd forming. And just as a heads up to our players as well as our audience, this map is not meant to be super literal. So
Mhm.
doesn't mean that there's exactly X number of people here, but the general vibe is a light crowd beginning to form.
Yeah.
Let's say it's about 45 minutes until the show is scheduled to start, and there's expected to be more folks arriving as it gets a little bit closer to show time. But right now, it's just kind of a loose crowd, and the guard, as you start to walk by on that stage left there, kind of looks at you and says, "What's this in?"
Oh,
Hold
just-
on.
Does nobody communicate in this establishment?
The guard
Would
over
it,
here.
if you would.
Really don't think they do.
Yes, thank you. I am here performing tonight after the magician. I
Oh.
have been led through here. My changing room is just behind you, yes?
I never.
Everything is to the specifications, right?
Hey,
Well, we
I'm
don't
just
know yet,
I'm
we
just
haven't been in.
security. I'm just security. I don't know what goes on back there.
No, I
It's-
I get it. You're doing your job.
Yeah. And
So embarrassing. So embarrassing to be so unprepared for this place, this venue.
It is a breakdown in communication, is what it is.
uh,
No one
just
talks.
just hold on 1 second. Oh,
Yep, loading.
Steven, and he kind of calls, and um, this guard over here is gonna walk over.
Oh, bloody hell, we never get anything done.
What's this? What's this? Yeah, they say they're supposed to perform. You mind running it up and double checking that for me? I've been on the chopping block for a while, and if I let somebody back there, it's gonna be my job. This guy who's been identified as Steven just sighs, and he's gonna walk
There
over.
he goes.
He talks very briefly and just kind of says, "Yeah, they're supposed to be setting up now. I think they might even be a little late. You better let them through." And you guys can make your way past up there into the dressing room.
Thank
And I
you.
will say that already we've gone a little bit off rails. Is that room doesn't open, but we can
Neat.
assume that
Cool.
that you folks are in that back room, and it's just there's like a couch, maybe like a mirror set up on the wall, and just
It's a
lightly
green room. There's a
yeah,
table.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Lightly furnished green room, not in great repair, but it's a bit of privacy if nothing else. There's no windows, and the only door is that the one that you came in there.
Excellent.
But it's an empty room. That's Densford's. That's not the amazing Densford's room.
Hmm.
Okay, I have a plan for how we can get to Densford's room.
Just gonna come back to that really briefly. Where is Denser's room relative to ours?
I believe it is on the other side of the stage.
So it is just directly across.
Right. Yep. So if
Okay.
you're on the left-hand side, there's another mirrored image on the right side, and
Hmm.
presumably that would be Densford's dressing room.
Right. Okay. We have some options.
We do.
Avantika, I heard you first.
Well, okay, we can go knock on the door. And if you
Correct.
won't let us in, we can pretend that one of us is a scorned lover and create a whole dramatic scene. Somebody runs in there, steals the crows, and runs out. Huh?
Should I be concerned that your first instinct is scorned lover?
It's a basic. Nobody
Yeah,
wants to
I
get
know.
involved. in
It's a
that.
trope.
Yeah, no, it's a trope for a reason. No one wants to get involved. They just like, oh god, they're arguing. You know, I can make some comments about his mother and how she never liked me, and
Damn.
his hairpiece is terrible. Everyone knows it's fake.
That's when you say you're also pregnant with his child.
Yeah, no, exactly.
There you go.
Exactly.
See,
it'll-
I see this ending terribly.
no,
However,
everybody will be so uncomfortable by it they won't want to interject.
see, this is why we call you the decoy.
Yeah.
You go make a scene, pun very
Alright.
much intended, and then Anne's over here, Magpie. She goes in, gets her hands on some birds, stuffs them in a bag, and we're out in time for dinner. Seems easy enough.
Yep.
Odette, thoughts?
Yes, that sounds good.
And let's get on it.
Okay.
All
Sorry.
right, how do you want to do this?
What's this guy's name again? What's he called?
Was that Steven?
No, not Steven.
No, not Steven.
It's Denna.
Densford.
The
I'll call him
amazing
Denny.
Densford. Denny.
I'll call him Denny. That's
Denny,
what
yes.
couples have. They have cute pet names.
You're really leaning into this.
That's what couples have. Just cute pet names for everyone.
Yeah.
While I'm still thinking about it, a joke I missed the opportunity for earlier, when we reached the scheduled booze. We've got the 7 o'clock booze, the 9 o'clock booze, and the booze at 10.
Actually, that does remind me. Before I go into the room, can I go take a shot at the bar?
Yeah, I think we'll even flashback to like
Do we get a crew
Just-
discount?
2 seconds earlier where you just walk up and just down a
Yeah.
shot, and
Mhm.
the bartender just kind of looks a little like confused as you just like take a shot right off the bar, and
You didn't even
the-
order that. That was so
Right.
strange.
Not order
I'll
nor
tip
pay
my
for
hat
it.
at him.
He just walks up,
He like starts to say
grabs
something, and
wig
the
walks
guard
off.
just puts up his hand and just says, "It's the talent." So yeah, you got that little bit of liquid courage in you for what it's worth.
Liquid
Make-
something.
maybe- Yeah, exactly. For what it's worth, and you can decide what that is. But yeah, so how would you like to start this scene?
I'm gonna smudge my eye makeup so it looks like I've been crying a little bit, and then I'm gonna just march up to the door and just start banging on the door.
Onto Densford's door.
Yes.
And,
I'm starting to notice a flaw in this plan.
Yeah, we need him
What
to
would
leave
that
the
be?
rooms.
It's okay.
Here's the
I
thing.
got it.
There's
I got
only one way in and out of that room, and we need him away from it.
Yep.
So,
The decoy's got this. Come on.
it.
do your thing. Let the chaos ensue.
Let her cook.
Oh, who's there?
Oh, God.
Denny! It's me!
What? What? Who's?
The fuck? It's me!
Are you here for me? You're trying to take me away? Oh no.
We have much to discuss, Denny. After how you left me last week, you think you could just get away with that? Open this door, you coward!
Oh, it's guards.
I'm
and
gay. Who is this woman?
The guards look, and they're watching, but they're absolutely not trying to get involved in whatever this is. There's not active hostility, and so they're
Yeah.
they're looking, but they're not approaching or concerned enough to actually act. But Densford doesn't seem like he's willing to just open the door. But if you want to do something to try to force it, remember, I'll never call for a roll, but you can try to decide if you want to make any kind of roll and what skill that is, and to try to force it. You can use items, you can use flashbacks, but this is certainly an obstacle that's you're gonna need to do something to try to resolve.
I would like to turn to the guards.
Okay.
Tears in my
Fantastic.
eyes. Excuse me.
Uh,
Do you two have wives or husbands?
Or both?
Or
Uh,
both?
Yeah, that's my husband there. Yeah, that's my husband. They kind of point at each other.
Aw, work wives. I love it.
Adorable.
How would you feel if he just up and left you 3 years down the drain, gone? How would you feel about that? How would you take that?
That'd be heartbroken. Oh yeah,
Right?
yeah. That'd be bad.
I am. No, please. I know that if I could just see Denny. I just want to talk. Do you think you could open this door for me, please?
All right, give me some kind of skill roll here. How do you wanna you made your pitch, and that's going to determine your position and effect, as well as whatever skill you want to use. But
Okay. Da, 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 da.
While
Let's
she's
see
doing
here.
that, I've got an idea. Magpie,
Me?
how tall are you?
I come stand next to you, like, and look up to you. How tall do you think I am?
I'd like to measure her against the duffel bag that I brought with me. I'm going somewhere with this, I promise.
I'll leave that up to you, Magpie. Do you fit in the bag?
Yes. But
There
my
we
head
go.
is like, it's like you could see my feet are like stretching the bag.
It looks like there's a person in the bag, but there is a person in the bag.
I can make it work. So here's what I'm thinking. I pantomime setting up the stage, as is ostensibly what we're here to do. What I'm actually doing is smuggling Magpie across the stage into a controlled position to sneak in and bag the bits.
All right. So you're loaded and in position, Magpie.
Yes.
I'm in the bag.
Yeah.
And I think I'm gonna use sway.
Sway. That's a great choice. So, I think that this is going to be. You've done
I
a
make
lot
a
of.
mental note to get a bag of sweets for her later.
You've done
As the bag has probably some unpleasantness inside of it.
Yeah, I'm not
Oh.
happy.
Yeah, it's not comfortable and it smells terrible, but you fit mostly, sorta, but enough.
Well, of course it fits. I've carried corpses in this.
Right. It's made to transport bodies.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's been used for the most, and today is no exception. It's just this body is alive for now.
For now.
Yeah, for now. But you've done a lot of setup with this for this sway roll, so I'm gonna say it's a controlled position.
Fabulous. Fabulous.
And effect will be standard. And thanks to the generosity of one of our donors here, you will get an
we
extra
got a donation.
from the original donation. Cheryl has indicated that for the amazing acting that you will get an extra die here. But go ahead and start to set up your roll here.
Fuck yes.
This will be our first roll.
And is it just so sorry, I've got my little stat block pulled up thing. Do I just click the little dice icon by sway?
So you can do it that way. The other option is, well, yeah, just do it that way, and let's see. It might teleport you to the correct screen. Let's see what it's. Yep, perfect. Okay, so it's going to be sway. You have one dot in that skill. It looks like. I'm going to give you another +1 for the donation. You may also push yourself if you would like an extra die, and that'll cost you 2 stress. One of your teammates can assist you, and that'll give you 1 extra die, and they'll just take 1 stress. Or you can do a devil's bargain, which again, I'll introduce some sort of complication to the scene if you're interested. In exchange, you'll get an extra die. But right now you're working with 2. Does anybody want to assist? Do you want to push yourself? Devil's bargain. You can't push yourself and devil's bargain, but you can do assist and then either devil's bargain or push yourself.
I don't think I'm gonna do a bargain or push myself.
Okay.
So I think I'm just gonna go with 2.
All right. That's perfectly acceptable. So when you're ready, you can go ahead and make your roll. Success with a 6. All right.
Oh,
And it's
okay.
really, really good you had that extra die because your other roll was a 1.
Yeah.
Nice. Generosity has spared you today. But that is a pure success. So,
We are
Steven,
rolling.
Steven, if you were to leave me, I don't know what. I can't imagine what this poor person's dealing with right now. Just maybe that'll help get Densford back on the stage anyway. Yeah. Hold on. You hear the jingle as reaches in his belt, pulls out a key.
These
All
poor
right,
guys.
Densford, I'm letting her in, and I'm not going to let you out until you're ready to take the stage. So you better figure out whatever's going on with you two. And
No,
as
do
the-
you think that we could talk maybe somewhere a little more private? If we could just take this outside of the room. I don't know if I want everybody to hear this conversation. Spare both my feelings and his.
The door's unlocked. I'm not gonna physically take him out of there, but
You're
that's
not.
up to you. And kind of meanders back to his post. But the door's
Alright.
unlocked.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna open the door and
No, we can work with this.
I'm gonna open the door and I'm gonna go in.
All right. I'm gonna teleport for the sake of the audience. I'm gonna teleport everyone there, but just know that for our purposes, really only you're in there. But just so everyone can see what's going on, including the audience, everybody's gonna be teleported there.
Meanwhile, Taker and Magpie are doing their bullshit, and Odette is, I think, actually going to perform.
Odette
I
has just
wouldn't be
been
surprised.
longingly staring at the stage and piano the whole time.
Yes. You know, I used to play piano as a kid.
And as you enter, there's 4 birds kind of scattered around the room, and there are feathers all over the ground. And this well-dressed magician, he has the cape and the top hat, and he's an older man. He's pacing around, and as he hears the door open, he was already huddled in the corner, but he lets out a little "ee" as you come in, and just a little squeak, and kind of is cowering in the corner and says, I don't know how the birds got here. It's not what it looks like.
I'm gonna close the door.
Who are
Fuck
you
him
then?
up. Fuck him up.
You don't need to worry about that. And I'm gonna go try to knock him out.
Woo!
Okay.
Pipe falling, dud MP3.
Yeah.
All
Like,
right.
won't
And
you fuck me?
what skill are you using for that?
Oh, okay.
That sounds like a skirmish to me.
That would be my
Yeah.
guess, but I'm not allowed to say. But I probably look there first.
I feel like it sounds like a fist.
Yeah,
It sure does.
it sure does.
Oh, that is definitely a skirmish. That is certainly a skirmish.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, and I'm gonna say once again, he's huddled in a corner. It's a controlled position. He's not expecting to get hit in the face right now. He's scared, but he's not prepared.
Ooh, no, hang on. I'd like to flashback real quick.
Okay.
And about 5 minutes ago, I would like to palm off Avantika one of my vials of slumber essence. Just like, in case we need him neutralized, I'd rather not there be marks on him. I understand you're a professional, but we don't want to raise unnecessary suspicion.
All right. I will say that's a 0 stress flashback
Sick.
for that.
I'll just take
That's just
that off.
handing off an item.
Yeah.
That's not too attenuated. So yeah, 0 stress flashback. You have it. That happened.
Cool.
In that case, instead of knocking him out, I'm just gonna approach and try to force it into his mouth and make him drink
Okay.
I should have given her the blowgun.
it.
Is it still a skirmish roll then? Still that kind of physical
Yeah.
grab and yeah, I think that's.
Brute
But I
force
will
it.
say that that's going to move your effect from standard up to great,
Okay.
as you are well prepared for this exact scenario, and it will be very effective if you succeed. So you have 1 die just for your dot, your action dot for your skill. You want to push yourself, Devil's Bargain. It'd be hard for a teammate to help you directly. Sort of
Considering
the
we're
way
all
it would.
outside.
Right, exactly. So the help that of giving you an item isn't the same kind of teammate assist that gives you an extra die, but it did increase your effect. But I'm going to say unless there's a really creative thing that probably you're not going to be able to get help from a teammate here, but you may push yourself or Devil's Bargain if you would like.
You got moral support.
I'll
You
push
got
myself.
this.
I'll push myself.
Okay.
Just push.
So you click the push yourself, and that'll should knock 2 stress on your sheet. And again, stress is yours to spend one of the best pieces of advice that's in the book, and I stress this if you've never played before, drive your character like a stolen car. You have the stress to spend, push yourself. So I love it. So you can go ahead and do that. There should be a button or something.
For the push yourself, let's see here.
Probably adjustments. Adjustments, add a die, and then just add the stress.
Yeah, there's probably a way to automate it, but for our purposes, that'll absolutely work. So it'll be just remember to mark 2 stress on your sheet, and go ahead and I'll give you the extra die in the adjustment there. Boom. So just make sure you add the 2 stress. But now you're working with 2 dice. And
There was no point in it.
a 3. So as you start to approach, you have the vial in your hand and you go up and he goes ah! And flails and just kind of screeches and knocks the vial. It doesn't break, but knocks the vial out of your hand and it kind of falls on the ground. And he starts to scamper and move for it, seeing that whatever it was is on the ground and he's starting to get to his feet. So
I should have
that's
given it a fucking
that's
blowgun.
the consequence is that you've now lost that item, like lost control of it. It's not, you know where it is. It's on the
Mhm.
floor. And he's scrambling towards it. What do you want to do?
I'm gonna step on his hands. I'm trying to
All
grab
right.
it before he can.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if you would like, you can make another roll for that. It's going to be a risky standard, just kind of a straight roll. You pick the skill, but it's right now it's kind of anybody's ball game as you struggle for control of this vial.
Okay.
Okay, you got a
Alright,
4,
alright.
which is a mixed success. You have the vial, but he's managed to, as you reach down and quickly grab it up, he kind of stands at his feet, and you're looking and making eye contact with each other. You have control of the vial, but he's no longer in that vulnerable position to. Oh, I missed it. It looks like there was another die. We'll save that for next time. But so you're standing face to face, and he's on his feet, and he's aware of you. You're aware of him. You have the vial in your hand. What's the meaning of this then? Who are you?
Duct inspector, we're here to inspect the ducts.
What does that have to do with whatever that juice is in your hand then?
It lubricates the ducts. Very important.
Oh,
Of your body.
I don't know why you thought I was gonna give that to you. There's a duct right in front of you, right above you, where you were curled up.
God damn it.
Duct inspector.
This is going fantastically. All right.
So yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll cut meanwhile back to our folks who
Yeah.
are out there in the theater
Hard
proper.
cut to Taker and Magpie.
Yeah, exactly. And
I think it's pretty clear to us that this is not going well.
yeah, you
Yeah.
hear some commotion, and the guards are just saying they got to work it out themselves. They got to work it out themselves. But you hear some struggle, commotion, and maybe some like muffled yelps from Densford screaming there. But the floor is yours. If you would like, I can cut back to the scene, or we can leave it there depending on how involved you'd like to be. I leave that up to you.
Either or. What I'd like to do is I'd like to go up to the door and just kind of like, not ostentatiously, but makes a little bit of a show of knocking on it, like, "I was supposed to be setting up. Can you wrap it up in there?" And some such, deliberately masking the noise. And as I'm doing that, I'd like to just ever so gently nudge the door open enough and just I I apologize for this word choice in advance. Kick the bag in.
Ow. You just hear an ow from the bag. Just ow.
And we'll say that this is occurring. Again, this is a meanwhile type thing. So this is during that kerfuffle over the vial. So Densford doesn't notice at all that the door opening. Again, you're subtle enough. I'm not going to make you roll for it because there's a lot of Densford is locked eyes with his potential attacker, and it doesn't notice the door open or the oomph sound as a bag gets kicked in. But Magpie, you are now in a bag, but the bag is
Uh,
past the doorway there.
I would like to peek and see what's going on from the bag.
Yes, I feel like I should elaborate. I have left it just slightly unzipped so she can get a
Mhm.
finger in it the rest
Yeah.
of the way.
Perfect. Yep.
Because otherwise, that's
Yeah.
just entirely unhelpful.
It had it's
There's a
reversible
little-
zipper.
Ooh, that's an idea. I should install that.
Anyways, I'm gonna peek and see like what the hell's going on. Just like, and once I see the struggle, I want to see if I can get out and
Bite his ankles.
I would say trip him or
That works too.
you know sit on him somehow and stop him from moving.
Okay.
Collect the
he's-
birds.
He's standing and doesn't notice as you unzip the bag and kind of peek your head out. And you just see the two of them kind of like locking eye contact and hear something about ducks and lubrication or something. But you're
Sounds all
focused on
very-
the task. Yeah, you're focused on the task. So
Very
what would you like
lover's
to do?
tip in there.
I'm just like, okay, can I take my climbing gear, which is rope, and try to wrap it around his legs?
Yeah, I think that's perfectly acceptable. I'm gonna say that it's not gonna be an automatic thing. He is distracted, but you're gonna need to do something. Pick some kind of skill to try to subdue him there.
Let's see. What would prowl work?
Yeah, I think
Sounds good.
that's a perfectly acceptable skill if you'd like to use that. And
Because you're not trying so much to muscle him as much as maneuver
S-
around
right,
him.
this is a
Sneak.
stealth. Yeah, exactly. It's not just that raw power, but he doesn't see it coming, and you want to keep it that way. So go ahead
From the top
and
rope.
Okay. Let's see. I'm so sorry. I'd say roll.
Nice.
All right.
let's see. Uh, do you have it queued up there? I'm not seeing it.
Oh yeah, I pushed roll.
Oh, you already rolled.
Roll. Yeah, roll
Oh, I
already
see.
happened.
I see. Mixed success. You pop out and start to wrap the rope around his legs, and he's falling, and you don't quite get him like all the way subdued. He's still managing to kick out, but he's on the ground
Kick
at
out, you
least.
say?
Like his feet are trying to be tied up, and he's kicking and flailing, and he's starting to fall to the ground.
He's got the
but his-
shoulder up.
his arm is his one of his arms is still free, and he's flailing. So he'd be able to quickly untie himself, but for at least a moment, he is. Yeah, you have him where you want him.
I'm gonna dogpile on him. Just my little body's like, ah.
Go for it. Hurricane Rana.
Adet, what are you up to as you hear
Yeah,
some?
back to the
That is a
Yeah.
good question.
back to team non-chaos,
Right.
Less
So
future
chaos.
chaos.
what am I seeing from my perspective? I'm just out on the other side of the stage and just hearing this massive ruckus going on inside.
Yes, and you do notice that the guards are starting to become more concerned. You can't exactly hear them, but they have walked closer to each other, and they're kind of whispering and pointing and shaking their heads. But there's definitely they're getting concerned, and that
Quick
concerns you.
sidebar.
Yes.
How big is the audience now?
It
I
hasn't
imagine
been
it's
that
been
long. We'll say
20
it's
minutes?
probably about 20 people so far.
Okay.
About maybe half capacity of the theater right now. But it is slowly but surely more and more folks are joining the crowd there.
Which makes it more and more difficult to sedate people in public. Okay.
Mhm.
I've played Dishonored. I can work with this. Okay. Odette?
In
Okay.
fact, I'm going to start a clock
Hmm.
that
no.
is guards
no.
concern. Right now, I'm just going to put it at a 1. We'll call that as a result of your mixed success, as
Okay.
another side effect of that. Let's just start it at 1. But the guard's concern is 1 out of 4, 25%. If it fills up, then the guards will go and
Okay.
investigate and do something about it.
Well, I don't think that I'll have any luck trying to talk the guards away from the door, do anything like that. I don't think I can have any luck trying to silence anything that's going on. What I could try to do is work as a distraction by making myself less of a liar and going and performing.
Very good, very good.
I love it. I love it. So not necessarily trying to distract the guards directly, but distract the room with your
Yes.
performance. Right.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
Got
call it a warm up.
Yep. Exactly. You
Yeah,
gotta
we're
flex the
tuning up the
pipes.
instruments.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to do a run on the piano. I don't know. I'm just assuming Elias knows how to play piano.
Go for it.
Flashback,
Why not?
20
Yeah.
years.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Mrs. Dexter was very insistent.
So what skill would you like to use to wow everybody?
Right. I believe. Would this, and it feels a little strange for it to be. Hmm. Would this count as sway?
I think the charming aspect
I think that
absolutely
works.
works. Yeah, I
Sure,
think
sure,
that's a
sure.
great choice.
All right then.
So sway, and Undertaker, are you assisting with the piano? And
I
if
am,
so,
yes.
it'll cost you 1 stress, but it will give an extra die to this roll.
Oh no. Okay. I didn't realize that stress was going from right to left.
Oh, you and you trauma it out. No,
Yeah.
playing piano is
It's
scary.
performance
Okay?
anxiety.
Yeah,
There's a sudden
Right.
spike and then it goes
Okay,
down. You know how
so
it goes.
I am having an assist.
Yep. So if Sasha clicks the assist teammate blue button there, it should automatically do that. Yep.
There we go.
Boom.
All right.
And you we'll say that this is a risky standard as a setup,
Yes.
just kind of plain. Would you
Damn
like
right.
a devil's bargain, or would you like to push yourself?
I never perform without pushing myself.
All right. All right. So you can go
That sounds
ahead.
like a good way to get hurt.
It is. That will give me 2 stress.
Yep.
All right. Then let's roll.
All right, let's see. A mixed success. So
I'll take
you
it.
begin your performance, and the Undertaker is tickling the ivories just perfectly.
Mhm.
The guards quickly look over, and they're distracted. But they do say, hold on now. I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to touch that. Densford has it very, very set up for exactly as we were told not to let anybody touch the piano. And so the guards are very fixated on you, which is exactly what you wanted. But they're
Mhm.
starting to get a little testy, that you're touching things that you're not supposed to. So that's the mixed success element. But I will knock the clock down. Oops, back to 0.
Fabulous,
Um,
fabulous.
Mhm.
So the guards are absolutely distracted, but they are absolutely distracted because they're fixated on you. And
Mhm.
they're just hold on now. And do you keep performing, or when they?
Absolutely, I do.
Okay.
I continue to perform while trying my best to. Well, actually, I don't. If the guards are just getting restless, that's just not even going to concern me. So yes, I keep performing.
Perfect. Yeah, you're belting it out, and you did well on your roll. So I mean, you're nailing every note. And they are absolutely distracted. We're gonna cut back to our scene in the dressing room as the amazing Densford's top hat kind of rolls and falls off and rolls away as he's flailing, and you're attempting to subdue him. Are you with the spirit wardens? I told you, I'll tell you everything you need to know. Just don't hurt me.
Yes, we are with the spirit wardens.
We are.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Now,
Yes.
hog tie that man up and put him on the couch. We have things to discuss. You've been caught.
Now the birds they just came to me. I didn't take nothing. I'm telling you, if you want the birds back, you can have the birds back. Just don't hurt me.
Yeah, we want the birds back.
That
Where
easy.
did you
Yeah, the
get
birds.
your birds?
How did you?
Birdman?
Yeah. What do you mean they just appeared?
Do you pull them out of the hat?
Well, I can't reveal how it's done, or they'd kill me.
Yes, you can.
I guess maybe you might kill me. Now, if you just don't mind, just taking off these ropes, I can help you secure them, and we'll just let you on your way there.
If he's
Um,
secured, you can sedate him.
Also, we as one of our donations, someone can relieve some stress. Whoever has the most, I think, would be probably a debt from pushing yourself. Two,
Sure.
I think, is probably our highest. So
Mm.
you can go ahead and take that off. Thanks to our lovely donations, help some cats and help our players. I love it. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you take off these ropes, I mean, as you know, these things can bite. I don't know if you could just pick them up like that.
Don't worry about my pet. She's got it.
Uh,
She's fine.
Okay.
They should be afraid that she's gonna bite them.
Our.
Exactly. Now you just we'll collect the birds on our own. How do you get more birds?
Well, I know a guy who knows a guy, I suppose.
Can you tell us this guy who knows a guy who knows a guy?
Oh, I don't know that many guys, just two guys. Well, a
Oh,
guy
good.
that knows a guy, not a guy that knows a guy that knows a guy. That would be pretty attenuated when you say.
Can you please sedate him?
Can you just give us the name of your contact? You know.
Yeah, I think we can do that. Just don't hurt the birds, and we'll go ahead and I'll tell you everything I know. And with that, we're going to take a break. As you have,
Intermission.
yes, we will take a brief intermission.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody who's been watching, and thank you so much for donating. I do apologize that we have been missing some of your donations, so I will try to be more alert of that. But just going forward, everybody just know that you can add 1 dice for donations because we have accumulated quite a bit. So if I don't remember, I'm going to now push that burden onto the players. Always remember your donation dice going forward.
It's
I don't
our
think we'll
problem
use them
now.
all up. Yeah, exactly. But thank you so much, and we will be right back.
All right.
ready to rumble.
All right, guys, we are back. Let's do it.
Hello. Hello. Welcome back, everyone. So, when we last left our scoundrels, they had subdued the amazing Densford and were grilling him, we'll say, about where he got the birds from.
Seems a bit generous to us, but okay.
Right, exactly. Um, yeah, and the light most favorable to our scoundrels, we'll call it that.
Yeah.
So, like I said, there's a guy I know, and he knows a guy, and he gets me the birds for the tricks. And well, I suppose I could arrange something if you want to meet him. But I'm just saying he doesn't like when some spirit wardens are gonna be sniffing around him.
No, don't you worry. Don't you worry about that.
Yeah,
Give us
that's
his name.
oh, all right. His name's Michael. Hangs out at an abandoned house not too far from here, and yeah, he's the guy who knows the guy that get the birds. If you let me go, I could draw you a map.
Mm-hmm. Now, is it Michael G or Michael B?
Kind of thinks for a minute. Suppose we're not that formal. I kind of always just called him Mikey. I assume it's for Michael.
Do you know how many Michaels live in abandoned houses?
Uh,
Okay.
Most of
I
them,
don't
I
even know if he
guess.
lived there. Most of them.
But yeah. Draw it on the map. But pinpoint it on the map. How we get
Yeah.
there.
We'll give him a map while his hands are tied, and just put it like slide it under his hand and give him
Yeah.
a pencil.
I'll shove the pencil in his mouth at first, and then and put it in his hand.
As he kind of takes it out and is tied up,
It goes so horribly. I just know it.
and he's gonna actually trying to his very best, even though he's restrained. He throws the pencil and is gonna try to hit you with it right in your eye. Just trying to like a dart. And he's
That's
talented. The sleight of hand ability of this magician is crafted. And though he doesn't have a pencil trick per se, throwing darts and having the birds catch them is one of his acts, part of his acts. So he's pretty skilled. So the pencil's whizzing towards your eye. What do you want to do?
I'm gonna move out of the way.
All right. How do you want to do that?
I'm gonna. I'm gonna roll on the ground. There
All
we go. Duck to the ground and roll.
What skill would you like to use?
Okay. Let me see here. I'm. Actually, can I try to hit the pencil out of the air instead?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Just swat it out of the. Yep.
I would like to, for that, use wreck.
Perfect. Yep. So I'm gonna say it's a controlled position in that he's pretty desperate right now, which means that you're in a pretty controlled spot. And it's kind of a Hail Mary attempt. So a controlled position, effect will still be standard. Magpie's in the room. If you want to help, it will cost you a stress.
You know, I see this coming towards my friend. I know the longest, and I will go ahead and help.
All right. Yeah. So how would you are you trying to also get the pencil, or are you just watching watch out? How do you want to assist here in the narrative?
Push. I'll try to push her out of the way.
Okay.
So if she doesn't hit it, she gets pushed out of the way.
Right. Okay. So yeah, give a good shove, a well calculated shove, we'll say. So that'll cost you one stress. It'll give one extra die. Don't forget I'm even remembering your die for donation. So go ahead and add one for that. And as a devil's bargain, you don't have to take anytime I offer a devil's bargain. They're always up for you to take or leave. But if you'd like an extra die, we will say that I'm going to take the idea we were talking about during break. The actual lover of the amazing Densford is going to try to surprise her partner by coming in trying to surprise him. So you'll have that person entering the room if you'd like. It'll give you an extra die to try to swat this pencil, but you will have to, whether you succeed or fail, that person is now in the room.
Oh,
I'm gonna
boy.
take it. I'm
All
gonna take
right.
the
Oh, no.
bargain.
All right. So go ahead and add an extra die for that.
All right. And
Straight success with a 6.
Nice.
Nice.
As the door kind of swings open as this woman enters the room, and I'll give her a little NPC in just one moment. But the door swings open, and you turn, and the push that Magpie gives you, along with the swinging action of the door, and you turning to face it, you just swat it out of the way, and the pencil is going to stick into the wall right next to this woman entering the room. Just kind of lands almost like a dart, and she turns and what is the meaning of this?
At the official business. Who are you?
Shit.
State your name and your
Uh,
business.
Stephanie Densford, and who might I ask is you? Are you?
Have I seen this?
Yes, you see the woman. So we'll cut back, flashback style, cut back to the two of you as the guards are. "Well, please don't touch. What? As you're performing, you see out of the looking past this woman entering and just open the door and start to walk in and kind of stops in the doorway. You don't know why or what's happening, but you do see her and she's kind of standing in the doorway, and then
Shit.
takes a step forward and shuts the door behind her, and you lose sight of her.
Okay. Odette,
So
can you
Hmm.
handle yourself for 30 minutes?
I think so. What are you doing?
I'm damage control. If I don't come out, just make sure no one else goes in.
I nod.
Excellent. Okay, so I'm going to I'm going to go in.
All right. You come in and you see this woman in the room, and everyone's kind of just looking really confused. There's a pencil sticking in the door. Densford is still tied up, and there's a map in front of him, and
Bloody hell.
there's kind of some chaos afoot as you enter the room.
Right. So, first of all, the the woman whose name escapes me right now.
Stephanie.
Yes, her. I want her asleep. And so I'm going to use my blowgun, which I can do as a free bit of load. And just kind of right in the neck.
All right, and I'll say she's distracted. You're good with your blow dart. It's something that I'm assuming. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but something you've used plenty of times, and she is absolutely not expecting it, and is not a combat trained person. That
That
by
we
just
know of.
right, but just by using that item, you won't even have to roll for it. Just the dart, much like the pencil into the doorway there, hits her right in the neck, and she just says, "I'm not feeling. What's the?" And just kind of slowly, gradually, gracefully, until she feet goes out from under her, thump, hits the ground.
Wow, that was the most graceful fall I've ever seen from one of them. Right. What the hell is going on in here?
What did
Tell-
you do to my wife?
Oh,
What
right,
did
you're here too.
you
Can,
do
can
to
I get
your
him
wife,
as
you
well?
mean?
I,
We
I
saw
mean, I
that
could
pencil.
just syringe, just
what did you do to your wife?
right. Now that's better. Repeating my question. What the hell?
Oh, he was gonna give us. Okay. Well, so we came in, right?
Okay,
Thing that looked crazy, a little wild. He was gonna give
I
us
noticed.
the name of. Well, he gave us the name of his contact, the guy who knows a guy where he gets the birds from, Michael or Mikey, who lives in an abandoned house. He was gonna mark it on the map, and then he
Do
tried
you
to
know
throw
how
the
many
pencil
Michaels
at
live
my
in
eye.
abandoned houses?
That's what I said, and he was like, meh, 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 meh. and then he tried to
Honestly.
throw a pencil at me, and then his Stephanie, his wife, girlfriend, I don't know, she
Where
came
did
in.
he get a pencil?
We gave it to him so he could mark it.
Why
on
would
the
you give him
app.
a pencil?
Because there's too many Michaels who live in abandoned houses. We needed to narrow it down.
Okay,
Yeah, we're gonna get extra money because then we can have a supply of crows.
No, exactly.
I like where you're thinking. Let's pursue this later.
Okay.
For now, bag the birds and hang about. Bag.
I'm not going in a bag.
No, not you. I'm eyeing Densford.
We could put him in a bag, or we could frame him for this.
Well,
Huh?
I'm just thinking,
Hmm? Hmm?
would we rather go
Domestic
with...
violence.
I'm just gonna let that hang for a second.
I was like, I'm like, I was just gonna put her on the couch and put him next to him, and
Fainting
then
spell, I don't know. Yeah,
Odette, as they're
meanwhile.
discussing what they would like to do, your piano accompaniment has stopped, and the guards are okay with you continuing to perform so long as nobody touches the piano, which was really what they're concerned. And they
Sure.
start to walk away when you hear a commotion coming from the entrance where you first walked past that gentleman with the book, and they kind of quickly turn as you hear a little bit of and just you can't really make out the words, but there's some shouting, and you see uh, two figures with these almost like plague doctor masks pushing their way past the gentleman with the book, and you recognize right away that these are spirit wardens, and
Oh shit.
they're making their way towards the stage area, and the crowd has definitely started to pick up. We'll say there's 30-ish people now. Quickly start to disperse, and almost like the parting of the Red Sea as they go to either side, staying out of the way of these mysterious, but nobody knows who the individual spirit wardens are. Their identities are always very, very well guarded, but everybody knows that they are a force that you do not want to reckon with, and they quickly move out of the way. But the spirit wardens are making their way towards the stage, presumably probably to backstage, but you see them approaching. What would you like to do?
They're moving towards backstage.
Yes.
Hmm.
Kind of towards Densford's room. They haven't quite made it to where the guards were set up, but they're making their way towards that direction.
Hmm. Hmm.
I do have an idea. But in doing so, it would mean going loud.
well, we got to get the birds in the bag first.
Here's what I'm thinking. If it comes to it, and this is like last resort material right here, but if it comes to it, someone could go outside and do a murder to get the spirit wardens out.
Wait, I got one better.
Okay.
I can start a fight with the spirit wardens. I'll do a nice little drunken. I'll bump into them, be like, "Hey pal, watch where you're walking," and boom, bar fight. Bam,
Hmm.
nailed it. Nothing could go wrong.
Maybe with the guards instead of the spirit wardens,
Um,
because you don't
Or
want to
both.
piss off. Or both. I mean, if one happens to hit in the giant scuffle you make,
Yeah.
but what? Okay.
Hmm.
So that I'm not saying no. I'm just saying that Odette would have to let you know the door is closed, so you don't know
Yeah,
that
so
the
we
spirit.
don't know
Right.
this right now.
Right.
This is the other
Only
part of this. I
right.
need to inform the
only
others about this.
only one of you, only Odette actually sees this, as the rest of you are in that room of chaos.
Um,
Hell in a Cell, as I'm calling it.
Yes.
I think that I am going to In my belting voice, sort of between numbers, simply call out that I am dedicating my next song uh, to these new masked figures that have walked in. And I'm saying this very loudly in attempts to hope to communicate to my compatriots in the dressing room that trouble is on its way.
Okay. I'll give you this option. You can either we can say that if you're trying to also distract the spirit wardens, then there's going to be the potential, at least, for the complication of they think you're in on it. They
Right.
recognize what you're trying to do. If you just want to communicate the information, you don't have to make a roll, but it also is not going to slow the spirit wardens down. So I leave that up to you. If it's just to tell your teammates, no roll. If you want to distract them, then you have the perk potentially of slowing them down, distracting them, getting their attention. But the downside that they might think that they might get suspicious in some way. So
I mean, at the moment, I am being our distraction, so I think it is served best if I can inform and try to delay them in what bit I can.
perfect. I was hoping you would say
So
that. It's more
There
fun.
is
let's go for the risk.
there is one thing we can do.
Hmm.
We have infinite flashbacks, baby.
Ah!
That's true.
Have a code word.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, we could.
A
I
code
could
word,
like
all right, makes
call
it
you
very nice. So we have like
Yeah.
a very clear,
Mm-hmm.
a very clear signal for trouble. I think that makes a lot of sense.
What's your code word?
What's the crime
Ooh.
safe word?
What's this?
It's always pineapple.
Mm,
That was papaya.
Does
Nice.
Dustball have pineapples?
I feel
And
like that
other
would be one of the
questions.
hardest fruit to grow without the sun.
Yeah.
Tropical.
true.
I don't know much about
Um,
growing pineapple, but I have to imagine there's not a lot of them in a world without a sun. My guess.
I
I think it should be cat themed. Just saying.
There you
it should, yes, that is where my mind is going.
go.
I'm going to say, just for simplicity's sake, that the word is tomcat.
All right.
And you could work that into song lyrics. That's
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
perfect. Cool. Take the
All-
stress.
All right.
right.
So
Not yet. We're rolling first.
right.
Yeah.
And I'll say that the code word is going to be a zero stress flashback. You folks have worked together before. You probably have a pretty elaborate code system that if you want to add any code, that's not going to cost any stress. So you have the Tomcat code word. That's a gimme. But to see if they get distracted or on the flip side of that, if they get suspicious, we're going to need some sort of role, some sort of action from you. So how would you like to do
Okay.
The code word for come in and help is who the hell are you?
that? We didn't say it was an uncrackable code, okay? Just that you all knew what it was.
So since the role is being added purely because I am attempting to manipulate the guards on top of everything, so I think that may just continue to be sway.
Yeah, I think that's a perfectly good choice there.
Okay.
If you would like Devil's Bargain, and again, you don't have to. And if anybody has any suggestions for Devil's Bargain, it's not just something I have to come up with. So feel free to add if you have any good ones. But the one I have in mind is that your cat has followed you here, unbeknownst to you, and you're going to see your cat kind of scurry across and hide under one of the seats.
Oh look, there he is.
On cue.
Yeah.
We have
On
props.
cue.
Right. So
You don't
the
have
devil's-
to take it, but just as a complication, your cat is now loose.
that would be the devil's bargain. The devil's
Right.
bargain is now there is this cat I have to
Right.
deal with.
And that means if you succeed or fail the roll, either way, the cat is now loose and unrestrained in the theater somewhere. But you can also just say, nope, that didn't happen. I'm not taking it. And you can also push yourself instead of that, or you can just say, I have enough dice for this roll. That's up to you. I will say this is another one where because you're separated, having a teammate help would be hard, not impossible, but it's unlikely.
I don't think
Um,
it's likely. I'm going to say that I like complications, so I will take the devil's bargain.
Your cat is there. Win, lose, or draw, no matter what happens with this roll, your cat, you see out of the corner of your eye as you're belting out this song, as you
Mhm.
say the word Tomcat, the cat almost like peeks up and looks at you and then just darts underneath one of the benches and is hiding under there. The crowd doesn't seem to notice, but you know that's your cat. Um,
Sure.
so that'll give you an extra die for that, plus one for our lovely donations. Don't forget that one.
Okay. So I can just
Um,
adjustment add. There we go.
Yep, and that's just a freebie.
All right.
Well,
Fantastic.
actually, that's probably the most costly die there because it cost real money. But
Yeah.
freebie for you. Freebie for you.
Free for us.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm going to say that this is just a risky standard, um, kind of your middle of the road. And again, I don't know that you can get help from a friend just based on the situation at hand.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
when you're ready, go ahead and let's see what you got.
Okay.
Send it.
Boom, success.
Ooh,
Yes.
Nice.
The spirit wardens, known for being so stoic and attentive to detail, just can't help but be enamored by the beauty coming out of your out of your song there, and they stop in their tracks. And because it was not a mixed success, they don't believe you're sending a signal of any kind. They just think that you are very talented and appreciate the craftsmanship of your song. But they do stop in their tracks. They're not going to stay stopped, but you do have at least a few moments if you want to follow up with something else. But they're distracted by your song. But you
Hmm.
also notice your cat kind of
I
going between the
do.
seats.
And it's very difficult to split my attention between those two things. I think for the time being, I'm okay with people in the room being alerted and the wardens currently being distracted. I want to keep my eye on that cat for a second to see what it's up to.
Okay. So yeah, you're watching the cat, and you're confident that again the spirit wardens aren't going to sit and watch a whole set, but for at least a moment they've kind of forgotten why they were there and are just enjoying the entertainment being offered. But we're going to cut back to the Hell in the Cell,
Mhm.
as
Yeah.
um,
As I've
so
just heard the oh shit word.
yeah, I was going to say you hear very clearly that Tomcat come in, and you all know exactly what the code is.
All right. So we're in a confined space
Mhm,
with one exit,
mhm,
with two unconscious bodies,
mhm.
and four illegal birds that we need to somehow get out of here with undetected.
Mhm.
I'm open to options.
Well, we could put the birds in the bag I came in.
Step one,
Bag the birds, okay?
birds.
Ooh, there's a thought. Th- th- um, do any of these walls lead outside?
Um, so far as you can tell, no. It's pretty much just a room. It's pretty small. It's cramped, especially with all the people and the birds. But there's no windows, and the only door, only obvious entrance exit,
Mhm.
is that the one that you came in that leads towards the stage. If you want to take some time to look, or something, I mean, it's possible that there's something there.
I'm just thinking because I'm a leech. I could get through a wall with relative ease.
Hmm.
All
And the
right,
whole structure is underground as you got there through the underground tunnels. So you do have that tunnel out, but that tunnel out is on the
is
other
over
side,
there.
right?
Yes.
Exactly where
Okay.
you came in.
Okay.
And you don't
Huh.
know of another tunnel that leads into this area, and you know where the tunnels are, but there could be something.
I was thinking getting outside this door and getting across stage to their side and going out the other side.
Mm. Mhm.
We just and since everyone seems pretty distracted.
All right. So we scrub the scene, bag the birds, and book it. Is
Mhm.
that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, unless I mean we can take his. I want to take his top hat as revenge, but
You may take his hat.
Yes.
You know what?
Oh,
Take
Both
the
of
and
you.
hat.
Both of y'all,
yeah,
help yourselves.
the hat was covering up his bald spot, although he has this flowing hair.
There's your shiny thing.
Yeah, you notice the shine of the gleam as the electroplasm lights kind of reflect off of that bald spot on top of his head.
I do appreciate that. That shouldn't be covered up, so I'm taking the hat.
Everyone must know. Yeah, yeah. I say we bag up the birds and just
Fantastic.
run.
Mhm.
Before or maybe during, I'd like to retrieve my dart and syringe, respectively.
Yep.
Just kind of scrub the scene.
Yes. So they don't refill. Like
No.
both of those are exhausted, but you do have the evidence that they
Yeah.
were used. Yep, exactly. Done.
I mean, I can refill them when we get back home, but
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, exactly.
My next
Yep.
question is: should we prop them up so it looks like they're together, or
Yeah, I was
that?
just gonna suggest we sort of puppeteer them a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe put her arm across his face and I don't know, his around her neck. I don't know. You
Are we trying to stage that they did this to each other, or what are we doing here?
knock over a lamp. Listen,
There
you're
is
the
the
viol
pencil
Yeah,
embedded.
you're the violence expert. Figure it
Thank
out.
you. Thank you.
I,
Wonderful. And I'll start staging the bodies in such a way that it looks like they were getting into a little bit of a tussle with each other and nobody else at all.
It's a
Fantastic.
scene you've seen before is the disrupted area, and you're meticulously like tilting things just a little bit. Oh, elbow probably would have bumped that this way, and well, the scuff mark on the ground, and you kind of kick the ground a little bit just to knock up some dust. But yeah, you're staging the room to look like a tussle. Who's grabbing the birds? Because the birds are flapping everywhere at this point. There's been a lot of commotion, and they're just kind of all
It's a
around the room.
pretty confined space. I reckon it shouldn't
do too.
be too difficult. Famous last words.
Yeah,
I'll 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 bag the birds.
I'll
Okay.
help too.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the two of you are on bird duty, um, and you're kind of setting the scene. Um, yeah, this is somebody give me one of the people on bird duty. Um, give me a fortune roll, which means no skill associated with it, but just to see how long it takes because they are distracted. The spirit wardens are distracted, but birds are kind of unpredictable. Instead of doing a skill and setting it, somebody just roll me a straight, and we'll give you one dice for just pure luck, one die for the assistant of the other person, and one die for our lovely donation. So it'll be a 3-die fortune roll, and no, the only consequence is time. Oh, which
Oh.
a 2. So the birds
Oh.
are
Ow.
hard to catch. It's taking way longer trying to grab them with your hands, and you're kind of like tripping over the body as it's being staged, and maybe the birds are knocking over some of the stuff that was meticulously disrupted. So it's just becoming a nightmare. And the spirit wardens, Adet, you notice that they're starting to they nod, and one of them even elbows the other and just says, "Get a load of that one." But they're starting to make their way towards that door again. And the birds are not secured. You don't know that, Odette, but we know as the audience that the spirit wardens are once again headed towards the door. The birds are everywhere.
How many? Do we have any birds in the bag, or is it just a
Yeah, well,
few?
I'll give you one. You got a bird
Um,
because it was a fortune roll without consequences, so it can't just be a pure failure there. So yeah, you got a bird.
We got one.
I'm
Okay.
going to say then if guards are continuing to move that way, I am going to conflict. I hate to make things even harder for myself, but what's going on with my cat?
Oh, of course. Um, the cat has gone over towards the bar on the right hand side of the room. Again, we don't have it here because we have the Hell in the Cell on the map, but has gone over towards one of the bar and is actually rounding that corner. You've lost eye contact. You can't see it. It's out of your line of sight.
Okay. I
It's in a
am
corner, so it didn't like just run off, but you don't know exactly where right now.
I am going to very abruptly give an end to my performance. And having lost line of sight with the cat, I am probably going to. I'm going to give like a proper, although rushed, like end of things about thank the audience, so on and so forth. And then I'm going to hurry backstage, and then I want to immediately run back to that room to try to get my cat very quick. But I also want to do this without arousing any suspicion. So, in order to make sure that this goes as smoothly as possible without anyone thinking anything too strange of my behavior, I am going to make my way to the bar whilst invisible.
Ooh. And that was one of your
Yes, this is one of
Yeah,
my special
your
abilities,
abilities.
Ghost Veil, where I may shift partially into the ghost field, becoming shadowy. In this case, actually, it's invisible.
You may
Mhm.
what into the ghost field?
Shift
Oh,
with an
okay.
F, Sasha. All
Hey,
right.
however you want to flavor your transition is up to you. That's
Anyway, normally it would be shadowy and insubstantial, but I can take one extra stress
Mhm.
to change it that I am invisible rather than shadowy, and this only lasts a few moments. So let me tick myself 3 stress, and then I want to, as hurriedly as I can, rush towards the bar and see if I can just locate and scoop up my cat.
Yeah,
Excellent.
the
Excellent.
cat is underneath the table. And so far as you kind of like glance as you're moving quickly because you know it doesn't last for too
Yes.
long. So you're moving quickly, invisible. You do notice the spirit wardens starting to make their way a little bit closer to that door, especially now that you've left the
Mhm,
stage. There's just no
mhm,
reason
mhm,
for them to
mhm.
stand around. But you see the cat underneath the table, and the bartender doesn't seem to have noticed yet. Nobody seems to notice this precarious little creature hanging out underneath the
Mm,
table there.
I really wish that there was somewhere in equipment where I could just say that I have a carrier or anything to
Yes.
get him
Oh,
under
and so
control.
that's the other thing too is that
Yeah,
those
check off load.
yeah, those items are suggestions, and
Right,
if it's
sure.
something that would make sense, and because you have cats,
Yeah,
if you want to have your
yes.
cat carrier, that just mark off an item
Okay,
for convenience. Pick something you don't think you'll pick, and just mark that off as a one. It's a just a one item thing, so it doesn't take
okay,
two. Mark something off,
sure.
and yep,
We're
that
going with
you have
the
the
sure.
carrier.
Okay. So I've used up 2 of my load. Okay. I'm gonna take those off just so the sprites aren't constantly hanging around my character. Um, so then I am going to, fast as I can, get my boy back into his home so he's not scurrying around.
Secure the boy.
Mhm.
Yeah, and you know the cat seems to sense that you're there. These cats aren't necessarily just mundane cats. They do have a connection with the ghost field. So the cat does sense your presence, and what was before the cat was clearly seeking you out. And as you get closer, the cat seems to relax just a little bit, allowing you to pretty easily scoop it up into its carrier. Um, but you know that invisibility is about to fade, and you are under a table about to miraculously appear out of nowhere under this table. The bartender might notice. You have
Mhm.
just a quick moment to try to get yourself in an acceptable position. Where do you want to? What do you want to do? Where do you want to go?
Okay. I then am going to rush myself back to backstage, and I'm going to like stand directly in front of the door to Densford's dressing room.
Okay, I will
As sort of
say
like a
that is doable, but the spirit wardens are closer than you are, so they will be in the door before you would manage to get to the door. Which I'm not saying that you can't have happen. That's absolutely an interesting thing to see, but that would be the narrative, is that they're closer to the door now because you had to move past
No,
them.
I've got it. I'm currently invisible.
Yes,
Still?
for another moment.
Okay. And I am in the bar, which is more or less on the other side of this theater.
Yeah, we can, if you'd like, we can cut back to that scene here.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
so it should be transitioning in just a moment.
Mhm.
But yes, so they are. Sorry about loads. So you're going to be over by where the bar on the right-hand side is. If you want to move
Right-hand
yourself
side. Okay.
in that direction, the one closer to Densford's office, or
Sure.
not office, but dressing room.
Sure.
And I'm going to add some spirit words here.
Okay. Well, while I'm still invisible, since being on stage and creating that kind of distraction can only go so far, let's instead cause a much greater distraction. And let's cause a commotion. I am, with the last few seconds of my invisibility, and while I am still there, I'm going to like get myself into a position, possibly behind one of the chairs, that if like no one, the second I am no longer, when I am visible again, I won't like be immediately spotted and noticeable. So just like a very temporary hiding place. And then also in my equipment, I am going to take out a pistol.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm not going for full-on murder yet.
We're escalating.
I'm not going for murder, but I do want to sound off a gunshot from this bar.
Yeah. The
Respect.
crack of the shot rings out, and the patrons at the bar, which again, it's much more bustling than our scene looks here, but there's about 30 so people, start to just kind of scatter. The spirit wardens quickly turn towards the direction of the gunshot and kind of look towards
and then
you.
I'm going to, in what is hopefully the large commotion of people scattering and likely running away from where I just was, going to try my best to blend into the crowd as I regain visibility.
Okay, so the potential consequence is obviously that you get spotted. So how do you want to avoid that?
Let's go to my playbook.
I'm so glad you did that instead of what I was planning, which was everybody stand back, pipe bomb.
Right.
It was going to get loud one way or another. We know
Yeah.
that much.
All right. Another equipment that I believe I can wear is I have a set of fine clothes and jewelry. Is there a way that I can quickly just like switch out my disguise so I'm no longer immediately on site?
Yeah, you are a master of disguise, and we'll even say that maybe one of your acts was like a quick change act, where they like
Yes.
Yeah, you're a performer. This is
right.
Yeah. So you are very used to being able to change your entire appearance at a moment's notice, but it'll give you an advantage. Like you'll get some perks, but I'm still going to need some sort of roll to see what we can tie it against. But that's definitely going to help the effect portion of that roll.
I'm going to say, let's see, that considering I am simply working my way into the crowd of things, that is likely going to be prowl,
Yeah, I think any kind of stealthy blend in sort of thing. Prowl is
which
absolutely
I
a good
did
choice.
just choose a skill I have 0 dots in, so that's going to
All
be
right.
fun.
Well, remember you'll get 1 for our lovely donation.
my
So
God.
Right.
we don't have a 0 dot problem.
We don't have a 0 die problem.
But do you want to push yourself? I don't have a good devil's bargain. That's certainly open to the crowd. I don't have a good one. But if you'd like to push yourself, you can take the 2 stress. Again, the split party thing makes it hard for teammates to help you out here. But I will say it's your position is risky, but the effect is great because you have this quick change thing. So if things go poorly, it's not going to go too poorly. It's still risky. It's middle of the road. But if you succeed, you're probably going to be able to be lost in the crowd. Potential consequence is obviously being spotted. If things go too poorly, you might lose your cat in the process. Like in your quick change, the cat gets free, but that's only if things go really poorly.
I'm going to push myself.
Okay.
Sitting at 5 stress. Very good.
I like how we've been referring to the room of chaos, the hell in a cell, but yet the person on the outside is the one that's racking up all this stress.
Okay, let's go for that roll then.
All right, let's see. How do we do? Oh no.
Ooh, yeah, I hate to
It's
see
not
it.
even a partial success. You succeed in a way. Your clothes change, but in the commotion, the gunshot scares. What's your cat's name? What would you like to
His name is
cat?
Siegfried.
Siegfried. Yeah, Siegfried is startled by the gunshot going off and just manages to get out of its carrier and starts to run and is starting to blend in with the crowd. You're not even quite sure. You know the general direction it ran, that he ran, but you don't have eyes, and the spirit wardens have turned their attention and they are moving towards you. In some ways, that's good in that they're no longer headed towards your friends, but they've locked eyes with you. They know exactly where you are. Clothes be damned.
Oh boy.
We're gonna hold on that, give you a moment to think as we cut back.
Please
to
do.
Because I don't know what I would do in that situation. But we head back to the dressing room as the crew inside. What are you up to? You have 1 bird. You heard a
Okay.
gunshot go off. That I
Try-
think would be, if you could hear Tomcat being sung, you could definitely
I'm
hear a
not
gunshot.
sure if that would make me more or less calm.
As I finish staging the bodies and this gunshot goes off, I'm gonna turn to the 2 of you and be like, get the birds, get the birds.
We're
I'm gonna
getting
go
the
do
birds. We're
things.
getting the birds.
Get them faster, please.
They keep pecking me.
They like feed. Do you have
Pack
meat
them
or
back.
something? I don't know. And then I'm gonna run out the room into the main area where the
All right,
gunshot came
Fuck
from.
it. I'm gonna take off a box of load for crust of bread. I don't know. Maybe one of my victims had it on them. I don't know.
Just
Yeah.
moldy bread.
It's bread.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that. Yeah, if you want, that's a little. Well, no, you knew you were trying to get birds, so I don't think it's too attenuated that you would. So we'll call that a 0 stress flashback. Really, it's just mark off 1 item on your load.
Really,
you
it
have
could
some
be
bread.
I swiped some of those cocktail crackers from the bar earlier or something
Yeah,
like that.
perfect. Yeah, so you have some food. I will say that this is another one where last time it was kind of a fortune roll, just because there's a time crunch. You're gonna need to.
Yeah.
You have the item that'll help you, but I want to see some sort of risk of failure, which is that the birds are too startled from the gunshot. The food just doesn't appeal to them, and
All right.
I will add as an extra if things go really poorly, that the door opened for a brief moment as someone went to go investigate, right? So if things go really poorly, one of those birds is getting out as a potential consequence. So how do you want to
Alright.
deal with this?
I'm gonna try and keep putting them in the bag.
My gut is saying devil's bargain, but I don't know what for.
Devil's bargain is that one of the crows, and again, these are magic crows, special crows, Deathseeker crows, being so startled is actually going to tap into that ghost field just a little bit. And we'll say that it'll actually summon a ghost. Win, lose, or draw, a ghost is now going to be in that room.
Okay,
I say take it.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to
Yeah, let's rumble.
put us back in the dressing room. Hold on, because this is.
I have no
this
idea
is-
what I'm rolling, but
Yeah,
sure.
so then, you're going to have to tell me what skill, and that'll help to determine position and effect.
I want
Can
to
I-
say
Can I assist also?
Yes, you are there. So yeah, if anybody can help, it's Magpie there. So you can tell us how you're assisting.
I mean, by definition, this is skirmish. Entangle a target in close combat so that they can't easily escape.
It does fit pretty perfectly, doesn't it?
Yep. So, DB, and I'm getting help. Fantastic. Send it. Wee,
Mixed
okay.
success. So, real quick, let me.
I was just like scooting him over to the the bread, just like shooing him towards that area.
Yeah.
Just be like, go, go, go.
Oops, 1 second. I made a mistake. I teleported us to the wrong spot. Technical difficulties.
Don't you hate when you
And-
teleport to the wrong spot?
It happens to me all the time.
Every day,
it's-
I swear, you know.
Right. Okay, we should be heading. Okay. So, mixed success. You managed to get 2 more of the birds using the bait, but the one that you don't get just lets out this really primal and almost out of nowhere, this spectral banshee appears in the room and just lets out this piercing wail. It's
Okay.
loud enough that even in the commotion outside in the theater, you hear this high-pitched scream that just sounds unearthly and unhuman. And the spirit wardens quickly stop heading towards where the gunshot came from, because they're not really the police, but they are definitely the Ghostbusters, and they know that this is a ghost. So they halt and move their way back in. The rest of you
Okay.
are momentarily, for a brief moment, just unable to act as this horrific being entering the room just takes all of your attention. But you have managed in the process. You did get 2 of the crows. The last crow is free, and this ghost just looks at you. And you have, it's actually, we'll even say that the ghost sees some easy prey and is going up, and its long tendril of its ghostly fingers starts to reach into the head of Stephanie, just kind of just passing through. And then
Okay. I'm
you
fine with
regain
that.
the ability to act as its
I
hands are
wasn't invested
already.
in her character.
She was a devil's bargain anyway, right?
Yeah, she was a liability. This works out.
So there's 1 crow remaining. You have 3 now total. There's 1 more in the room. Stephanie's being ghosted,
That's
and
fine.
Densford is laying unconscious next to her. But the ghost is distracted by the easy prey here. So you have a moment
Okay.
to act. What would you like to do?
Book it.
So you're gonna dash?
I kind of want to see the door because we also know there's someone coming up here,
Yeah.
right?
It bugs me that we don't have the last crow though. Do we just kind of let it go?
I say we don't do completionist route and continue with,
All
Is
right,
that-
yeah. I'm gonna zip the bag back up, which is much lighter now that there's not bodies in there, and we're just gonna, yeah, we're running from the ghost. Obviously, we're stage crew. We're fucking terrified, man. We were just trying to assist Mr. Densworth, and this banshee showed up, and oh my god, Stephanie,
Stephanie,
and
no.
so forth. No,
Yeah.
Stephanie McMahon. What?
I
That
would
was not the intention, but I wish I could take credit for thinking of that name in terms of the wrestling motif we have going on.
I would like to yell ghost as I leave the room.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, just to
Maybe even
alert.
involuntarily. Like
Yeah.
it's you can take credit for that, but yeah, you just ghost almost before you can help it. Yeah. So I'm gonna move us out of this room here as we go back to the back to here. And the spirit wardens, again, they hear that piercing scream. Everybody in there hears the scream. Most of the patrons are filing out now. They're moving back towards where that entrance where you came in. The spirit wardens are making their way, rushing towards the door, and you almost like bump into each other as they're opening the door as you're heading out, they're heading in, and there's just a
Clear
commotion.
the way, man.
And yeah, they let you by because they see that ghost on the other side, and whatever, they don't care who or what you are. They
Man, they
need
don't
to
even
get rid of that
register us.
ghost.
This is great.
Yeah, they completely ignore you and see that someone is actively being attacked and brush past you. The crowd is bustling all around you as it's mostly thinned out as most of them are heading out towards the door. Adette,
Yes.
your cat. Where's your cat?
Right. So here's how I'm going to locate my cat, and this is going to be a multi-step process.
Love it.
So the first thing I want to do is I want to have a brief flashback to when I first met Siegfried. Which... so... It was very strange circumstances when I first met this cat. It was in a sort of like... I'm picturing this as like a very like dark alley, stormy night sort of thing. And, you know, as I was just making my way through the alleyway, when normally you would come across a, say, group of stray cats and they would all like scatter about the second they see a human. Siegfried, it's not that he was part of the Clouder and then ran away, but more such, he seems to appear out of thin air as soon as I met up with them. And this is my way of flashback-wise saying that Siegfried is Ghost Cat.
Yeah,
What a
I dig it.
coincidence.
I dig it. Almost like it was meant to be.
Almost, yeah.
Just because we're getting towards the end of the session, and I like to ramp up the difficulty a little bit, I will say that
Oh,
this is
sure. Just fucking send it.
a one stress flashback. If you'd like to continue with it, but
Okay.
yes, but
Yeah,
it'll
yeah.
cost you a stress.
That's fine. I'll take it. So
All right, it is done then.
then, having that set then, locating Siegfried in this crowd, rather than using any skill that I don't have any points in, let's use one that I do, which is Attune.
Oh, love it. Position's gonna be risky, just kind of middle of the road.
Yep.
Effect will be great.
Mhm.
If this works, it's gonna work well, right? There's
Right.
not a whole lot of that. Downside would be that there's already, because of the crow's call, there's a potential that more ghost activity starts to occur. So if things go poorly, another ghost might pop up instead of Siegfried. If things go poorly. But you have 1 dot and a tune, so you start with 1 plus 1 for our generous donations. So you can add another die for that. There's your friends don't necessarily know what you're doing, but they're close by if one of them can pick up on what's happening if somebody wants to assist, and they can. That's your problem to figure out how you assist. But if someone would like to, I open it up to the gallery there if somebody wants to help out.
As I had stated earlier that I was running out towards the gunshot,
Mhm.
I'll assist by doing the good old.
Yes. And you all have lived in that abandoned inn together. Your cats know each other, or know all of your voices, and even though each one of you has a strong connection to your individual cat, that noise is still comforting. So yes, it'll cost you 1 stress as you try to maintain your composure and focus on making the noise. But it'll cost you 1 stress. But yes, that'll give another die with the assist. I'm not going to give you a devil's bargain unless you really want one, but I don't have a great one for this because I feel like the complication is already kind of devil's bargainy. And that,
Yeah, it's already a lot.
right. But if you'd like to push yourself, I don't know how much stress you have left.
I have 1, so pushing myself would not be.
You can, but it'll give you
I
some
can just
trauma.
give myself trauma.
Right, exactly.
Fucking
That's up
send
to
it.
you.
It is Sunday night.
It's not, actually.
Well, it is in every time zone that is not mine. It is Saturday night. I'm going insane.
Yeah, there it is.
Well, it's Sunday in my time zone. Now that works.
Elton John, let's send it.
You know what? Let's go ahead and push.
Okay.
Woo!
So that would be, I think you still have 1 more die because you have 1 for your dot, 1 for the assist, 1 for pushing yourself, and
I don't
1
know if
for
anyone's
our
clicked assist
donation.
yet.
Oh, yeah. If you want to just press the assist teammate.
Oh, there we go. Aha.
Boom.
Why did that? That's still only showing 3. It should be 4. There it is. Okay. Okay. Let's give it a roll.
Mixed success. So you managed to, with both the calling and that attuning, you tap into the ghost field and you feel Siegfried's presence. And Siegfried is hidden under one of these chairs on the far side of the room, under this table, we'll say, on the far side of the room on the left there. You are so worried about your poor kitty cat, about poor Siegfried, that you take some form of trauma.
Yes.
What would you like that trauma to be? And I believe if you go to your character sheet.
Yep. I can choose to add it.
Yep.
Considering the many things that have been going on, the absurd actions that have had to take place for the situation to take its place, I think I'm going to go with reckless as the trauma.
All right. Yeah. And so as part of this mixed success, you've you kind of like barrel towards, Siegfried, and you're pushing people down, and you're reckless, like you're no longer paying attention, and you push down a gentleman, one of the patrons who was trying to get out, and
Fucking
a
women and children first, out the way.
hey, cats are priority here more than the
Yes.
safety of the patrons, right?
Absolutely.
Cat qualifies under children.
Yep, and we'll say that as sort of a mixed success here, we're not going to tap into the ghost field here, but the gentleman you bump into, a vial falls from his like waist where he had it tied up, and a cloud of green smoke comes from the vial as it hits the ground, as a poisonous gas starts to seep out into the area.
Heavens.
You are reckless. You are not stopping. You don't even seem to really notice this. But here, right towards the entrance, there is now a green smoke emanating up, sort of blocking that. You'd have to go through this poison cloud to exit. But as reckless and as traumatic as this experience is, you do manage to secure Siegfried and get Siegfried back into his carrier there.
Okay.
But the spirit wardens, they're busy. They're occupied dealing with ghost stuff. The crowd is mostly out, but there's a few people who are running through and they don't really seem to notice, and they're just dropping as they go through this cloud of smoke. It's dissipating, it's growing, but it'll take a little bit of time before it's safe to pass, unless something happens. But the smoke cloud is blocking the obvious exit.
Okay.
But you do get Siegfried back, and that's very
Okay.
important.
Um,
And we're gonna. So the rest of you see that the crowd is most. You see these bodies sort of just dropping.
Oh,
Unclear
my
if they're
bag is full.
dead
I could've-
or what,
Oh,
but
damn it.
you see that the bodies are dropping near the exit.
I briefly considered going back for one and then decide better of it.
Your bag is
very
full of
material.
crows.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you gotta let the crows out for your material to go in.
Skyrim, you are over encumbered moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just frozen.
Mhm.
My only idea was just like, has anyone got a fan? To start fanning the floor.
That's okay. That's an idea for one of my objects. A really like ostentatious Southern belle. Oh, I do so declare fan. And just
Absolutely.
whip
I
it
got the
out.
vapors.
Mhm.
Yeah, vapors indeed.
Yeah, I think that's now. Which way do you want to fan it?
Away from us, preferably.
Yes,
So,
well,
yeah.
here's the thing. I'm presuming that the bartender is no longer behind the bar.
Correct. Yeah.
I would like to jump behind the bar, steal some liquor, and then fan the gas away from us, and so we could run.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't even think that there would really need to be a roll for that. Just mark off your item for your load. It's gonna take a little bit of time because it is a manual fan, but you're strong, right? The stamina portion is not gonna be too difficult for you. This is easier than punching somebody in the face at the end of the day. So it's gonna take a little bit of time. As you're doing that, you're fanning just. You hear a loud like lightning crackle come from back in Densford's room.
Intense.
But the way out is clear.
Woo!
Go, 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 go.
Let us
Yeah.
go.
We're booking it. Let's roll.
All
Mhm.
right. You kind of step over the bodies that were there before the gas was fanned away. Undertaker, you almost can't help but
Mhm.
kind of look down and assess the condition.
Male, roughly medium build, recently deceased.
Recently
So
deceased
tempting.
is the key there. Those folks are gone. In fact, if you stick around long enough, some crows
think
might be
I hear
coming
it.
in. You might be hearing some more crows coming.
I can already hear the bell.
Yeah. Dong! In a very Undertaker type fashion, right? But yeah.
Where's that
if-
sound bite?
yeah. Just throwing that out there. You may leave right now. You have 3 crows. You were told to get at least 2, right? You have that accomplished. But
I mean, it plopped right in our laps. Extra credit.
mean, right.
So,
I say we take a shot and collect more crows.
I mean, the spirit fairies are already here. They're already aware there's more dead people, I think, so it's fine.
Sure, let's rumble.
all right, you wait a few moments. Or you tell everyone, hold on, and within
We have an opportunity.
within maybe 2 or 3 minutes, it's uncanny how quickly the crows managed to show up, especially you're underground, right? You had to come through these secret caverns, but rounding the corner, you see 2 crows. There's 4 bodies, but 2 crows rounding the corner there. What do you want to do?
Okay.
Okay.
I have an idea, but this is AoE, so fend for yourselves, maybe. I'm looking at my inventory, or rather, my potential inventory, and I have gadgets and I have, well, I've already gone for slumber essence, so clearly I have sedatives. The pipe bomb idea is being reconfigured. Tear gas. So I'm thinking 3 boxes of load, 1 gadget, 1 respirator, 1 vial of slumber essence. Crank that shit together and yeet.
Oh god.
As a way of doing what?
As a way of, like, scooping 10 or 20 crows just into a bag.
There's only two. Two crows.
That makes it, you know what? 1 for each hand. Let's roll.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and that's a lot of items that you're burning, so there won't be a roll. I mean, you are equipped for this
I
kind of
brought
scenario.
the bag.
Right. You got the bag, you got the respirator, you have all the things, and you were lying in wait for the crows. It's not like they were, you weren't surprised. You were hoping that they would show up. So there won't be a roll necessary, but that will take that many items. What, 3 items?
Yeah.
But you did say you wanted a heavy, so
Yep.
you're prepped. So yeah. I mean, there's the lightning crackling in the background. There's screams coming from down the hall, and then the explosion as the tear gas erupts and the birds fly into it, and they're thrown off course. They're flapping as it goes through this thick smoke, and you manage to grab both of them and quickly shove them in the bag. You hear one more lightning crack come from Densford room, and then it goes eerily silent until you hear just another piercing scream, similar to the first one, but this one, rather than striking fear, almost gives you a sense of pity, as this ghost clearly is experiencing some pain, emotional, physical, all of it. It's just the essence of pain coming from that room. But you have 4 crows now, right? No, 5 crows. 5 crows in the bag.
Yeah.
What would you like to do?
I think we got what we wanted, and I think we should go.
I look longingly at the pile of bodies before tearing myself away and heading for the tunnel.
Yeah, and with the amount of time as you waited for the crows to arrive, the rest of the crowd has cleared out, so there's not even a witness to see as you stow away into the tunnel that you came in, so you don't have to worry about tipping anyone off towards the location of your secret tunnel system. And you managed to make it out, and that's the score.
Yes.
I got my top hat. I'm happy.
Yes.
You wear the top
Yes.
hat.
You got a total of 5 out of possible 4 crows, so above and
Hell yeah.
beyond what was expected. The spirit wardens are none the wiser that there was a heist going on. As far as they know, there was some sort of squabble between Densford and Stephanie, and that created the whatever happened in there. A ghost showed up for some reason. They're not quite sure what happened, but I think that they have no idea that the strays were involved in this whatsoever.
Suck it, ink rakes.
Yeah, so at most you get a little, maybe a debt gets a little bit of press as people try to say that it was a debt performing. But a debt takes on so many personalities and things on stage that I don't think anyone can prove. Yeah, that's it, right? That's kind of your whole motto, right? Is maybe. But I think that, obviously it's a one shot, so we're not going to do heat and all that sort of stuff. But you guys managed to stealthily escape with more than the Dimmer sisters could have even hoped for.
I want to do more of this. This is fun.
Yeah.
But that brings us to the end. I know we're a little ahead of schedule, but I just want to take this time to say thank you again to the Meowrathon folks, to Simply Cats, and to everyone who played and everyone who watched. Just thank you everyone who can hear me say thank you right now. Thank you. And again, my name is Josh. I stream on Heroes Die at Heroes Die Show pretty much everywhere. If everyone wants to go, and I know you guys don't have a lot to plug, but if you want to just introduce yourselves one more time, and we can say our goodbyes.
Might as well. I am still Sasha Hall, and if you want to see more of me, which I don't blame you, I'm fabulous, I will be playing more games tomorrow at
Mhm.
certain times.
Right,
You
right.
just have to watch all
You
of
be the
them.
judge.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Just
you
watch the
watch
whole
watch
thing.
all of
every
them. Yeah.
single
We'll
one
show up
so you can
eventually.
see.
I'll
That's
be
so much
there.
better than having to convert to Mountain.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Just stay up all night.
Yeah.
I'll be there
Um,
eventually.
My name is Violet or Rosie Ayres. I am musician and such. You can find my Bandcamp at Sparkling Vinegar, vinegar spelled with a Y, .bandcamp.com. And you can also see me tomorrow at 2 p.m. Mountain,
12
where
p.m.
I will
Maybe
Mountain.
I'll be
be
there. You don't know.
GMing Wanderhome.
It's noon Mountain.
Oh, is it noon Mountain? Okay.
Don't be late.
Thank you for saying that. Yeah.
My name was Katie, and I had a blast playing. And thank you for letting me play with you guys. And hopefully, I'll
Yeah,
play
hell
next
yeah.
year.
And I'm Sammy, just a general nuisance. And yeah, it was great.
Yeah, you did fantastic.
Thank you.
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
This was a lot of fun. Everybody,
Damn right it
kudos.
was.
Did you talk about your stuff, Josh?
I think so, but I
He
will
started.
always take as much self promotion as I could possibly get. So
Eh,
go to Heroes Die, and that's Heroes is like possessive, but without the apostrophe. But it's HEROSDIE.com, and you can find Heroes Die streaming podcasts, all the fun Heroes Die stuff at heroesdie.com.
Oh, someone just gave us another donation. $50 from Anonymous. Thank you.
Oh, sick.
wow.
Hell
Thank
yeah.
you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Let's see if they gave
Great
us.
heist indeed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes.
It was a very this is one of my favorite games to both participate in and
We heisted
watch.
birds.
It's just
Yeah.
very good. Yeah. Great job, guys, was what it says on the donation.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you.
And yep, tomorrow, bright and early, starting at I have my introduction stuff at around 7:45, but then the real games start at 8 a.m. Our very own Josh is going to be doing a game he created called Brawlistas, which is
Other
a
Josh, not me.
the OD&D Josh.
Yes,
our
yes,
podcast
the real
Josh.
Josh. I am the imposter. Let's
Josh
be clear, I am
1.0.
the
This is Josh
imposter,
2.
yeah.
There can
But
be only one.
but it's a game about people working in a fantasy Starbucks trying not to get fired by their dragon boss. Following that at noon is Wander Home with Vi. And then after that, Kevin Hendricks from Knives at Night, another really great Blades in the Dark podcast, is doing Star Odyssey, which has taken this game called Aegon, which is a kind of Greek kind of mythos type game, and throwing Star Trek into it. And
I'm
then
really excited for this one.
and
I have
then
no idea what to expect.
I have no idea either. It took me a little while to even wrap my head around what he was describing. And then last but not least, I will be hosting another Dungeons and Dragons game at 8 p.m. With our special guest Riley Silverman. So tune in, watch all day. Let's see if we can reach the next milestone. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
570, we more than doubled what we made yesterday. So awesome. Thanks so much, guys. You're all awesome.
Oh,
Mhm.
thank you,
Thanks.
thank
Right.
you.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
We did a heist.